Wentz, end zone, pass caught, touchdown Gunner.
What is up, everyone? Got Tara in the house. Got Mad Max, the Mandalorian, going to come in as well to complete this three-person panel. How was the sound, Tara? Could you hear that?
Yeah, it sounds good.
Oh, no, I meant like the music earlier.
Yeah, it's good.
Awesome. How's it going? You're telling me you got this awesome phone. It does cool doodads and whatnot.
Yeah, a very expensive Kylo phone, but it's worth it for the Star Wars lightsaber sound.
Awesome. Let me say hi to the chat. We got CJH says, hail. We got Price is Right review. Let me get rid of this stupid banner. There we go. So yeah, I'm going to do like a Fandom Menace hater stream. / Comicsgate, as well, if people want. I don't know, just it's curious, I'm always spending my time looking up Fandom Menace, seeing usually haters. Brandon King, he's one that's always got something to say about Comicsgate or Fandom Menace and stuff, and it just interests me. What do you think of this, Tara?
I've been on the outside of it, so not really in the middle, embroiled in it, and I don't know. I think the hate sells more than anything, so it gets the likes. But I don't understand. I mean, y'all are good guys from the guys that I've talked to, so.
I appreciate it. Yeah, it's funny. Like I found you in that Star Wars like watch countdown before 9 group,
Yeah,
and I'm like, I don't know if people are gonna like me, if it's gonna go well. then I do a stream after Rise Conquer. I'm like, hey, I kind of liked it. I'm Fandom Menace, and y'all showed up well, like 4 a.m. in the morning and stuff. Like it was nice and made me feel welcome. It was the first time because I was just kind of like, there's a bunch of Raylos in here. Oh god, this is gonna be awful. And
I'm definitely not one of those, but
you got some edge, and I love it.
Yeah.
While we're waiting on Mad Max to come in as well, before I drop our first guest's link, tell everyone about your channel, and if you have a channel, whatnot, even if you're just the one of the mods and producers for Den of Nerds, if you could drop it in this private chat so I could share it if you want people to sub, that would be great.
Okay.
But yeah, tell us a bit about yourself. And you're not one of the haters, just like we kind of preface with your talk. She and Mad Max are kind of my fair and balanced panel, having instead of having Red Gaze or 3PO or pretty much anyone in my trans fat chat, any of that stuff, ministers.
I'm definitely not part of the haters, but I am an executive producer at the Den of Nerds, and that doesn't necessarily mean that I agree with everything that comes out there. I'm a little, like you said, edgier. I'm a little controversial myself, so that's why I don't personally have a channel. I don't want to bring the hate on myself that hard.
Oh
So
man, no, it's fun. It's fun. You know, like I still get hate clicks on my 501st video. I'm just
yeah, I
like,
mean,
oh
I've
man, you're
always
giving me watch time.
yeah, any publicity is good publicity, you know. So as long as your name is in their mouth, then you're good.
Excuse me. Yeah, we got Captain Pennsylvania. Sorry, but I don't recall your channel before my chat, but thanks for stopping by. It says, it doesn't matter what you like, dislike, gonna be haters out there. I'm assuming it's some encouragement for you, Tara, to maybe create. Um, but I understand if you don't, you know, you're a mom and stuff, you got enough on your plate. Maybe you don't want that egging in the back of your head.
Yeah,
It makes
it's a
sense.
lot. I mean, I've caused enough problems in my own life, in real life. I don't need to do it on the internet, but I have fun in the comments and stuff like that. I'm definitely a little bit different.
Yeah, no, it's greatly appreciated. Yeah, and I just want to give a shout out to my buddy. It's a Vase. If anyone's curious, the second half of like that little intro bit I did with the Thunderstruck cover, that is the animation for my intro is by It's a Vase Productions. He's a pretty hardcore memer, I would say. He's always finding clever ways to meme. You know, as an outlet, his hate for the Disney trilogy, and I don't always agree. I don't always care. I'm like, I'm done with this, you know, topic. But he's got a fire to him, and passion. I love it. I love that. Regardless if it's a meme I care for or not. They're never really like, you know, they're not dildo memes like War Campaign, nothing like that. But it's just like, But yeah, how's everyone in the chat doing? And I'm glad to be back streaming. You know, I did a stream with Rookie Critic. I don't know if you saw that clip. Tara, but we were reviewing a meme I did with Max and Second Street, and it should be pinned on my channel or on my Twitter. But
I don't think I saw it.
oh yeah, it was funny. He even used it for Second Street used it for a thumbnail recently, at least temporarily. So we got your channel. Let me add that to the description so people can maybe you'll make content eventually. Yeah, as soon as we get Mad Max in here, then I'll drop the link to our first hater. Yeah, and if you know haters or something that, you know, antagonize you as a menacer or a comic skater, you know, tell them like, hey, come in here. Maybe you can chat. Or, you know, if this goes well, I'll have some, you know, repeats of this. Maybe vary up the panel a bit, you know, if people can't accommodate. But yeah, what do you anticipate from this, Tara? Oh no,
So
I accidentally
much.
kicked you. Sorry, did I kick you?
No, that was my phone.
Okay.
If I move to a different part of the house, my phone will kick me. So
So yeah, I was asking, what do you anticipate, hater wise? You know, you think anything productive can come from this, or is it just going to be screw VS, screw the Menace, Jeremy, whatever? You know, this kind of.
that's not very productive. So I hope that's not what comes of it. I hope that we can hear why exactly. If it's, I think a lot of people jump on bandwagons and they just hear, oh, they hate. Like I read one of those posts today that Fandom Menace is woman haters and objectify women, and I haven't seen that from you guys. It's just, kind of against the SJW bullshit that's kind of going on. So
Yeah.
I'm interested. I'm interested to see what they have to say, and then put in my 2 cents from there.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. So Max is taking a bit, so I'm going to drop the link to this first guy. Hopefully he's still up. I told him it would, when this would be. Come on, I hate having a slow computer. All right, here we go. Oh, actually, yeah. While we're waiting, I actually got a funny thing to read to people in the chat. Thomas, I see you in there. What's up, man? Same as Stevie and PB and whatnot. seen some face I haven't seen in a bit. But I got this funny thing. I'm not going to screen share it because I want y'all to be surprised because the title gives it all away. But all right, so this is from Reddit. It's this guy saying, "My wife and I have been into the cuckolding for a long time. She loved me, but to be honest, I didn't have the right size requirement to fully satisfy her. I suffer from ED. So when she brought up that she wanted to go out and do some experimenting, well, I was against it at first. But after a few weeks of my, well, to be frank, subpar performances, I decided I would be okay with letting her live a little. I'm man enough that I can handle my wife going out and having some fun. Well, I thought I was man enough. Turns out my wife's boyfriend is a Trump supporter. This has sickened me. I have literally thrown up twice after hearing it. I campaigned hard for Bernie. I donated $27 over 30 times. That's a weird number. And when he lost, I put my head down in my wife's lap and cried. I'm not sure what to do now. I'm okay with my wife going around and finding other men to satisfy her. After all, in the late hours of the morning, she comes back to me. I am the true winner. However, I'm scared to bring it up because I don't want her to leave me. But I also don't want another child to raise from a father who supports Trump. Though it seems more and more likely every day. Extra sad face." I want to thank Josiah Rises for sharing that. I'm just like, all right. He said something about like what it's like to, maybe I'm mixing up another post of his, but I found this from him and I'm just like, all right, do. And then I'm like, oh, because I saw a bull. I'm Black Angus. I thought this was going to be about a cow that somehow picked Trump. And then, yeah, so I was, double surprised. What'd you think of that, Tara?
That sounds tragic for her and him. I think there are worse things, but
All right, we got some madness up in here. Did you hear that little story from Reddit, Max?
No, I didn't know what was going on when I just popped in. I'm like, okay.
Yeah. I was reading this this Reddit post someone screen shared on Twitter. Is essentially this guy had ED and his wife wanted to experiment, so she got a bull. She was cucking her husband, and he was fine with it until he found out the boyfriend voted and supports Trump. And now he's like, Reddit, what do I do? My wife's gonna have a kid with a Trump supporter.
Well,
and I was saying how I was surprised because I read bull on the title and I thought it was about like a bull.
Sounds like something you'd be reading, Angus.
Yeah, we got Biden Touch in the house saying what's up. We got CBJ Reviews, one of my favorite channels. I need to add him to my list. I want to say he's in my list, but maybe he's not. When you scroll through all my descriptions, he should be in my list. I'll fix that if not tonight. Tomorrow,
I don't know Tara yet. I have to find out.
Yeah. Introduce yourself and Tara is a executive producer for Den of Nerds. So y'all are my kind of fair and balanced. Y'all are my fair and balanced, kind of perspective with these haters.
Okay.
I've definitely heard your name, Max, with Trinity.
Oh, really? Yeah. Probably complaining about me.
It's funny where you've come from that first kind of interaction on Twitter with Josh.
Yeah. I need to work out with something with Josh again. That was fun.
Yeah, no, he's great, man. He's so for such a big channel, he's so cool. Hanging out with us little people. CVJ though says the good and shit people everywhere, even in every fandom and walk of life. We got Wookiee Supremacy. Hail friend. Glad to see you in the chat. He said beautiful story. Biden says Trump supporter. Oh no. Captain Pennsylvania was wowed by that. We got Kermit the Log in the house. John Ingemi says that's a masked rival Doomcocks. And we got Red Gaze saying, hail fuckers.
Oh, okay. Hey, Red Gaze. I don't have much beef. The worst thing I could say about the Fandom Menace and Comicsgate is they're getting boring now. they're hard to cover. They're not as exciting as they used to be. Uh-oh. Am I laying it hot now?
No, I was just listening. How's it getting boring for you?
It's just the same old. I mean, I haven't even been watching anything with Comicsgate lately with Ethan.
Oh, dude, Ethan's having fun. He's just been like DJing on air, just rolling people through. I was like the last guest this morning on my way to work, which is cool. I gave Ricky a shout. I'm like, hey, support a creator in the Fandom Menace, actual creator, not just like, oh, I make videos.
I saw something about him doing a poster first for his Wreck Planet. I was wondering if he got that idea from people like you.
Maybe, I don't know, but he's been doing posters. See, like I would say maybe it's kind of what's the word? I think it's convergent evolution, where you have like mosquitoes get wings, and then like the animals that start before birds, like winged birds, they get wings, or like stingrays, things that look like winged creatures, but they have a totally different path, but they both get those items on them. It might be like that. Especially with EVS, he's already done like just poster or cover campaigns, so that's where I think it's just kind of coincidence. But yeah, maybe he heard in the grapevine something about my idea. I don't know, but he's done this enough where he's fulfilled shipment, so it's not like he needs to win people necessarily.
Mm-hmm. Well, we all got to. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Tara.
I haven't watched much of his stuff or Comicsgate stuff, so I'm kind of new there. Just so y'all may have to explain what exactly that is, but I have opinions on the Fandom Menace, guys.
Okay, yeah. If you wanna delineate those while we're waiting on our guest or anyone that's angry, it's got some beef. Red Gaze, yeah. I actually didn't think of that. It always the pun with beef will lose me half the time. But yeah. Where are you at with the Menace here?
Well, I just, as far as I know, Star Wars. I was not. That's what I cut my teeth on as a child. So I wasn't really into it. Once the new ones came out, I wasn't that interested. Jar Jar irritated the hell out of me. But there's such a divide, and people are so fucking vicious. So I was, I'm interested to hear why people are so against each other and why their way is the right way, and they can't even have a conversation with the other side.
Yeah, no, it's.
I think the Den of Nerds rewatch was good for me because hearing other people's perspectives really helped me like or kind of see how to like the things I didn't really like before.
You talking about like into The Last Jedi and stuff like that?
Yeah, like the Twitter rewatch that we did with Ken and everybody.
Yeah, no, that was fun. Yeah, and Ken's a great guy too. I gotta get him on a stream. I saw he had something good happen, Dean's List or something with college. So
yeah,
hail Ken.
Let
me check the private chat really quick. Dude, Mega McCheese, yeah, you said you might be a little sick, but that's fine, dude. That's why I've been streaming lately, is because I've been sick. But yeah, I hear you a little bit. Maybe get a little closer to the mic.
Let me check my settings. I think I got it on the wrong one.
Mikey Woods says the War Campaign Tribunal of Mega McCheese is currently being booked.
Oh, no.
Stay tuned.
Well, hey, I want to give those guys a heads up. I stream on Chatterbait, so don't worry about finding nudes or anything of me.
Interesting. So we need less beef and more porking. All right, so McCheese.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, no, you sound great. You had a recent interaction with the Pie Lord, Caesar, Hail Caesar, and it seemed to win some people over.
Yes, it
myself. I reached out to him like, hey, sorry about this. I saw your interactions on Twitter, and I assumed certain things because you get people on the anti side, and like you try to have dialogue, at least I do, and then it's just like any way they can spin anti, and it's just like you're not here for conversation. You just want to be antagonistic. So I get fed up with that, so I just block it out, either block, mute, or whatever. But yeah, I reached out to you about pain and stuff, and I'm like, oh, I judged you preemptively. There's still more time, to see left or right where you kind of sit, but we did have interesting conversation in the DMs. I am not going to delineate that stuff because it's still vague, I would say, to make accusations, at least for me to disclose. But let's get where you're at with CG or Phantom Menace or both, and what your problems are.
Oh, okay. Well, that's a short question, but a long answer, right?
Yeah.
CG, I guess my big problem was the WC side of things was the dildo memes. Now there's a lot of people that talk to me on Twitter, and I've got every interest in just arguing for the sake of arguing. And I guess the best way I could distill my position down to was if somebody asks you to stop manipulating their image into some kind of sexual imagery, then that request should be on.
I agree.
I mean, just be clear. You're saying if you ask to not be dildo memed, then
but I think anyone that calls themselves a man should have the honor to stop when they're asked to.
Well, you realize
and, I don't think
sorry, No, go on, McCheese.
Arguing with people. Can you guys still hear me?
Yeah. I don't know if you had a delay.
Okay. I don't know. It's like choppy, but basically that was my position. Was like, if somebody asks you to stop, if they don't want their image included, and you can search Twitter and find all this stuff, and anyone that doesn't have the full picture could see these images and say, what the hell is this person involved in? And there's nothing anyone could do to stop it. And that doesn't seem fair to me. Just have a little honor about it. And that's what I tried telling, EBS. And I think he kind of understood it, but his position was, well, what are you going to do? Well, I think for me, what I'm going to do is say, like, hey, if you call yourself a man, if you honor your word, if somebody asks you to stop interacting with them or stop manipulating their image, honor that. That easy. So I don't know. Like a lot of the WC guys, they saw me as having walked the walk and talked the talk and all that, and I appreciate that. And I don't know. I don't think that's such a bad position to hold for anything.
Yeah, no, I can see that. I do kind of agree with CVS. So it's like it's the internet, and
Yeah.
So he
was like, "Oh, are you offended by it?" I'm like, "No, I'm a time traveling cheeseburger. Why would I be offended by it?"
Yeah, the biggest thing is like when you let people on the internet know what bothers you, then you're giving them an invite to like antagonize you more with that. So I try to like never disclose what gets under my skin on the internet because of that. And generally, as far as I know, I don't know of any kind of preemptive memeing. But War Campaign, like for me, I have the most fun memeing my friends more than the antis or whatever. So like Stevie J, like I had a great time memeing him with or Mad Max with him and him hanging out with Kermit snorting bombs of coke.
I love that too. Thanks.
No doubt.
But no,
You know what I saw when they did for John Delarose today? It was just him in some like really garish makeup, and I was like, that would bother me more than the dildo meme.
Yeah, well, see, that's the thing is, War Campaign. It seems kind of an honor-bound rule. We don't meme just anybody. We meme people that bother us that hit at CG or War Campaign, whatever. And I think that's at least the perception you gave. I think you like to have fun on the internet and argue and stuff, and people perceive it a certain way, given like how far we've gone. Yeah, I would say at least.
I mean, I've been arguing with people online since dial-up. This is what I do for fun.
Let me get Tara and Max's take on that as well.
My opinion is, if you put your images on the internet, that comes with a certain understanding that it's there. It's on the internet, and after you post it, you have no control of what happens after. So the internet bullying and stuff like that, and those cases and stories that I hear, when you come on the internet, you know what you're getting into. You know, like, if somebody asks you to stop, you know, okay, you can respect that and be a good person, but you really can't expect that, because you can't change someone else's behavior. You can only change your own.
Yeah.
So that's my opinion.
What about you, Max?
The fudge. Blame the fudge campaign. Is all this worth it? I think it can be funny in small doses. When it's this widespread and there's a lack of respect for people, it goes overboard. And I agree with Mecha Machis. If someone asks that you should stop, not everyone handles things. I see Tara's point, where if you come on the internet, you should expect some, but people are different. There should be rights versus respect is something I always say. You have the right to do it, but if you actually respect people in the fandom, then why do you keep exercising your rights over the fandom? Then that's what you care about. You care about your right to be an asshole, and that's it, and that's all you become. Yeah. So the fudge campaign, they are funny. I also think, is it worth hurting the people you support too? I'm going to get real with you. I'm not going to tell you what you want to hear. I think it's what you want me. I like a lot of people in Comicsgate War Campaign, including Black Angus, Red Gaze in here. But is it worth it? I think Doug, people really dislike Doug, but he's very religious, and he would not like the images as being done, and it was his lack of respect. I knew Doug Tenaple before I knew Ethan Van Sciver, and I think if you really guys wanted to succeed, more respect at the beginning. Imagine if Doug and EVS were locking arms and the fudge campaign didn't happen, and then they had opportunities for Netflix and stuff. This could hurt you down. I'm not saying it definitely will. It could hurt creators down the line that want to have advertisers and agreements and projects in the future. It could actually hurt them just because all this internet fudge campaign. I did lay it hot, Angus. I told you I'm not gonna tell you what you want to hear. That's what I want.
That's why I brought you on.
That's why I brought you on. Gay says totally worth it. I disagree, brother. I like you still. This is the difference too. Just because I don't like it doesn't mean I'm gonna stop talking to you. But I don't think it's worth it at all. I think it gets. And I do tame memeing with my thumbnails and stuff, but
pretty good memer. You should
but a lot.
If you use dildos, how great your memes.
No,
are.
I don't want to. I'm tired of the dildos. There's so many. I get flooded with it. I don't want. That's not what I'm about. I don't shame you. Go, but. Lots of people get put off by that. What you ask? Why do people block the Fandom Menace? There's your answer. I would 100. If I wasn't in this game on YouTube and Twitter, I would probably block the Fandom Menace and War Campaign because, well, not Comicsgate and War Campaign about spoilers, but definitely Fandom Menace. They just retweet spoilers on everything. It's obnoxious. It is toxic to the fandom because it ruins it for people that want it. So I 100% know why people block them.
Great. I had a rainbow dildo for memory.
Hey, I told you I'd bring it hot. I'm Red Gaze. Yeah, I'm on record as saying that. That's great. I'm asking for it now.
Okay, wait.
I'm tired of.
I'm trying to catch up with the chat, so I'm just like, wait, where is it? Okay.
Yes, I am. It's not worth it to me. But I respect your right to do it, but I'm gonna call you an ass for doing it. But you're probably just gonna add a dildo to it.
Yeah, we got Curtis Wisey saying Gray Order equals copy of Phantom Menace. Stuff said. I don't hate. I just see it for what it is. Well, I disagree. I think how I've talked about it is how I see it, is you got Fandom Menace that will get down and dirty with all these kind of political discussions with the media. And I think that is an apt assessment, given that the first film school was by communists in Russia. And the Nazis built off of that propaganda. They perfected it, but the Russians started with the Russian montage. So I think politics and media has always been intertwined. That it's like technology. Technology always starts with like military application, and then it delineates to the public slowly. Yeah, Grey Order. It's like, let's just talk about the films and not call each other soy and feminist.
I could answer his comment right now. It's already 10 times better than the Fandom Menace because there's goals, and then there's people that say, I want to be leaders and we want more. When shit hits the fan, we have no leaders. We scatter. And the Grey Order, we're like, we want fandom to be better. We're not just here to make money. We want more leaders. I could get behind that even if we fail. We're trying. Not on the hater stream with John talks like he cares about Captain Marvel, saying it's not our responsibility. If fandom's not a responsibility, then what? You're only here for one thing, and that's it. So I don't respect that at all.
And we had CJ.
I'm Grey Order. I'm sorry, Tara. Maybe I'm scaring you. I'm Grey Order, but you said what I really want to. You said let it happen on the stream, so I'm going to tell you what I feel.
It takes a lot to scare me.
Huh? Okay.
Can I touch on what Max just said for a second?
All right.
Just not that I disagree with you, man. Just I can't imagine going onto the internet and finding camaraderie among people who also enjoy Star Wars. And I'm a veteran myself. I served over 7 years, and I had that camaraderie in a real life situation. Not to talk down to you, but like Star Wars is just not that important to me that I would find a group of people and be like, we're something together. I watch the movies, and if I find a group of people that are also talking about it, what I'm going to do is say, hey, I had these thoughts on it too. But I'm not ever going to go out there and be like, oh, we should have goals for this and stuff. Like, my goal is to watch a movie and enjoy it or not and complain about it if it's bad. So I don't know. I have a disconnect with you there, but I just wanted to like.
I can kind of see what you're saying. I can kind of see it. Like, clearly,
it's just kind of silly. Like, we're a band of merry men to enjoy a group of movies.
Why not try to? If we're still talking about it, what's the point of still bitching about it if you're not going to try something better?
I saw Star Wars opening night, and I bitched about it for a couple days, and that was it for me.
Right. So if you're still bitching about it now on Twitter and on YouTube, then what are you doing it for? Why not try for something? If you're still here to talk, why not try for something better? I'm not saying it's going to succeed, but why not be with people that are going to try to be a better fandom?
I don't know if any fandom will ever reach Hollywood,
No, sorry. I'm trying to catch this chat, and someone said huge ass. I don't see him in here.
Where's huge ass?
But
where's huge ass?
John says Angus is too close to anus.
You're not the first guy to think of that.
Well, come closer. Come closer, right? John.
Where'd Tara go?
Tara.
Oh no! I think it's her phone. She's got wireless headphones, so she'll probably be back. But what were you saying about AC/DC?
That's what you take your avatar from, right? Angus,
yeah. It's from the "Lock Up Your Daughters" poster from '76.
Yeah, not to like the shit talk at you, Mad Max. Just like, I don't know. I think a lot of people in the Fandom Menace and otherwise need to take a step back and say, what the fuck am I doing with my life?
Oh, you think so, Red Gaze? I hope not. I want to work with. I want to work.
I'm good. I'm good.
Okay. All right. Do you have a you guys have channels too? Or
I just added Tara's. Oh, I didn't save it. Refresh the video, and hers is at the top above support your channel. If it ever saves. My computer's just going slow.
It's it's for the den of nerds, and as far as that's concerned, I'm probably the problem child for Josh because I'm outspoken. I have differing opinions, and you know, but I support a lot of people from a lot of different viewpoints.
Okay.
So, and Star Wars is something I've loved since I was a kid. So I agree that it's not that fucking serious.
Yeah.
Like it's not something to be so divided over.
Not something.
I mean,
a gang of men together for.
Yeah, I mean, as far as like, we all love Star Wars. Some people might love this part, some people might love that part, but Star Wars is something we can all enjoy. We may differ on which parts we enjoy.
Yeah, no, I can see that, but I think Star Wars is important. For one, it's one of the first 25 films preserved in the film section of the Library of Congress. So they thought it had such an important effect on film. Clearly did, so much Pixar came from Lucasfilm and other things. All the contributions Lucas, with his innovation of Star Wars, helped make for film industry. So it's just the technical aspect, but also there's I think the spiritual aspect. It's a linear story. It's not like Marvel where you just reboot it all the time, and it echoes so much history and mythology and religion that is important. It's a unifying factor. I would say it is, when you get into it, it is dogmatic, and so The Last Jedi is like the schism of 1054, or like the 95 Thesis, or Jesus coming, and it divides the Jews and what becomes the Christians, where it's like, this is heresy, or no, this is the way. I just think it's very important, at least in the discussion of film. I think film, like I talked about, it's been used for propaganda since the start. The first film at the White House was Birth of a Nation, which was, inspiring Klan story. So I think film is very important to delineate ideas, even if it's like very vague and subtle. Because Star Wars, the first movie, you can apply it to the American Revolution and be like, look at the rebels, they're fighting the evil totalitarian empire. But George Lucas wrote it as the Viet Cong fighting imperialist, or whatever term you want to put for modern America. But it's vague enough where it can go across time and space. So I think, Star Wars is bigger than just X entertainment, Yeah,
like, I mean, but that's like politics too, because I think if we all stop being so just on the surface and we really look at what's beneath, we have more in common than we have in differences. I've noticed that in the past few years that, I can talk to people who hate stuff that I thought I liked, or I like stuff that they hate. And when it comes down to it in discussion, if people will be civil about it, we can really get down to more things we have in common than different. But it's the internet, so I don't know if there's the intelligence on the internet enough to do that. So
yeah, like Greg Counselor Darth Lunga, he's always like, oh, if people pay attention to Angus's YouTube instead of his Twitter, and I'm like, I like to be gay on the internet. It's fun. It's fun to ruffle some feathers, but at the end of the day, like, you can come on here and we'll chat for real, So it's like, I'll antagonize you a bit, but overall, I'm here to like have discussions.
Yeah, well, me on the internet, I'm completely antagonistic, and like I said, that's why I don't have a YouTube channel, because I would have more hate than Jeremy has hate from everybody else. So, and that's saying something.
Well, I think you should then.
Exactly.
Got my downvotes ready.
So McCheese, what other problems do you have? Like, are you, aside from the dildo memes you don't like from WARCAMPAIGN, you've seen, like, you've interacted with Pan and squashed, you've buried the hatchet, at least for the time being. That's what kind of won me over. Was like, oh, this guy.
Oh, yeah, I gave that dude my address.
And so that wins.
Mistake.
Mixtape.
Mistake.
It's a mistake, McCheese.
Well, I mean, he was like, I'm a lean 200, 6 foot. I'm like, well, I got 60 pounds on you. I'm not worried.
Okay.
That's some shit I would do. Give people my address.
What's he gonna do? All right, even if he does beat me up, is he gonna like kill me or something? No. I'm sure he's not that crazy. I could take an ass whooping if I need it.
What's the date today?
like, where are you at with Comicsgate as an ideal, McCheese?
Comicsgate. It was really exciting. A lot of the war campaign stuff and the anti-CG and all this shit. It's just noise at this point. Like I got $25 here and there for a book that looks interesting. Is where I'm at. And if I go on Twitter and I see a good pitch, maybe I'll back it. What's not going to get me to back it is, seeing the creators argue with this guy and that guy. And I don't know. It's just, there's so much bullshit out there. If the book looks good, I'm going to get it. And if the guy is delivered on time, I'm definitely not backing a book to make a political statement anymore.
Yeah,
I
I'm
don't care
kind
if EVS makes 700,000 on Cyberfrog too. I don't care. If it's good, I'll get it.
Yeah, did you read Cyberpunk? Because like I told people, like, dude, keep your eye out, like, get it where you can, because it's legitimately not just because I'm working pain or something. Like, I legitimately read it. I'm just like, holy shit, this is a page turner, dude.
Well, he sold the artwork alone. I bought 2 copies of it, honestly.
Yeah, I felt like reading it art wise. I felt like when I go to a comic store, when I go to like a collectibles store, where you got to spend like 2 hours just really soaking everything in, make sure you don't miss something, because you'll kick yourself. That's how it felt, trying to like make sure I saw every detail in every panel.
FOMO.
You see it.
Like a fear of missing out.
Yeah, exactly. So it's so good. But like for me, I see CG as an idea of. And Fandom Menace is kind of wrapped in this as well, but a little different. But CG is like, don't propagandize, don't politicize your work. You can be whatever you want. You can toe the line and just be like, I am going to be straight and narrow Captain America for my customers, or you can be like WARCAMPAIGN, or you can be like Doug Snaple, Mike Miller. I support Mike Miller to be whatever he wants. It's just when you're like so crass disparaging like a potential customer base, not just the 3 to 10% that is LGBT, but all the people that are friends with LGBT or whatever, things like that, where you just purposely like, let me troll the gays. And it's like, it's not like, haha, I'm trolling X person, I'm trolling a demographic just to be a douche. That throws me off. Doug Snaple, like, I'm fine with the Christian perspective, like the fundamental Christian perspective of anti-LGBT or trans, whatever. Like, be what you want. That's your faith. I get it. I don't support it, but I get it. But it's when like you make it hateful or something. That's kind of where I'm at. Where if like Hitler made a great book, like, hey, I'll check it out. Support its his ethos or something. It's like I'm supporting a piece of art. There's plenty of Hollywood artists that are pro-abortion, pro all these like deranged things against America that make great art. That's kind of where I'm at. So there is, I guess, some customer respect. But the biggest thing with Duct Tape was like the 106 that he didn't like fulfill later, like the I think overseas shipping, all that stuff.
Yeah, that's what Sketch Therapy's big hang up is with them.
It's like, just like, pride's a sin.
Yeah, but he was one of the first ones to try, though, to fulfill where everyone else was sitting back doing live streams. So of course he's going to have the issues first. I think he ironed him out.
The counter
he offered a refund to those people.
The counter to that, though, Max, is that how many additional like sales and people getting eyes on their projects did EVS help? Because I know you're referencing EVS mainly with the live streams. He's giving more eyes to people that he doesn't have to. So that's the counter to like, well, he's not fulfilling his thing on time. It's like, yeah.
No, I mean, I'm just saying you were criticizing Doug for, he was one of the first ones to try to get fulfillment done, and he got the most criticism on him. And then we're still talking about Cyberfrog like 6 to 8 months later, and he's already fulfilling another campaign. So he tried, I think. I agree with your comments on about him pushing the anti-gay and LGBT thing a little bit too much. I don't like that either.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of some like big, like just mainstream people that might be like overtly conservative or just like deranged leftists that, it's like, man, they make such a great thing, but like I can't stand them. It's like Picard, if Picard, I'm not a Star Trek guy, but if Picard, like if he was saying all this stuff, but he wasn't trying to bring it into the product, I can totally separate. Like Mark Hamill, until he made that thing at the Trump kid or whatever, wearing Star Wars, Ivanka's tweet. I never hated his, politics I can't stand with Star Wars. So that's how I view creators. Like I don't care what people do in mainstream comics. It's the fact that you have to toe a line. That's what I'm trying to say with that. Where it's like you can have any range, left or right, with your politics. It's just keep it out of your books or keep it out of your product.
Okay, I get that.
I don't think it's a hard line to fall. What do you think of that? You seem kind of on the outside, Tara. What do you think of that?
No, I agree with that. I'm seeing Mark Hamill's thing with the kid. That that made me hate Luke Skywalker and like from my childhood, and I just like took it all the way back and retroactively hated him. So, I don't like the comic books that are coming out now. I don't know much about Comicsgate, but the comic books that are coming out now that are pushing their agendas and are pandering to the people that are not the fans and are not the people reading the comics is just, it irritates the shit out of me. So, I'm willing to support anything that's going to, as long as you're not putting your political agenda in my face and you give me good books, I'm going to support that.
Yeah. Sorry, chat. I'm trying to catch up with you. My computer's so I'm looking at my phone now. Somewhere, I think Soybase. Yeah, he said, "Do I go full force?" How do you mean? Let's see. He's normally trolling us. Hey, we got the Senate in the House. We got Phobic Zeno, hell friend. Oh yeah, he said he was cheese. There's some malicious people calling themselves Work Campaign online. Never give out your address to randos. Let me see. Curtis says F Miller. I like that. He says F Doug too. See, that's the thing though, is I've even with my criticism, my disdain for Doug, I've never taken down my reviews, and I gave him a completely fair and really, spot on. I think I gave him one criticism of that. He just gave away a character's kind of, I don't want to say character, but like a trait. He gave it away like that when he could have made him think, oh, this guy's like, straight and narrow. He's very confident in it. Oh, that's his one flaw. He just, he showed it way too early. Yeah. Not Earthworm Jim. Bigfoot Bill, amazing product. I don't like Doug. Greg Council says so inclusive, so free, so different from SJW's creates a I don't know what you're trying to say. I might let you on in a minute, Greg Council. Let me see.
I don't know if Mike Miller had said if he had Lone Star saying, pride is a sin in the comic book, then I'd have a real big issue. But I mean, everyone knows who Mike is. I don't think anyone was surprised by him saying, pride is a sin. So
I honestly was. I was like, why would you do you not see how this reflects on they're looking for anything to say this is Comicsgate, there's a kind of collective we're all should be kind of arm in arm if we're because he was CG at the time. He was still under the label on his own, not just from perception on the outside. And so it's just like, this guy's stupid, that's kind of where I was. And then he's just kind of on everybody. He's like, hey, I got gay friends. It's like, yeah, so does Mike Pence.
It's just like, hey, here's a target to hit me with. Go ahead. I'm ready for all criticism, no matter what.
Yeah,
come on, Mike.
It was a dumb troll. You troll individuals, you don't troll hey, demographic. Because I'll give you an example. It'd be 50% of prisons are black. Happy Black History Month. It's you're just asking for it.
I didn't know that.
Rough estimate, But yeah, it's a problem for the black communities. We make up a big chunk of the penal system in the prison population. But yeah, you know, you control like that. It's just like you're just trying to be a dick if you're just like this is
No,
your mind.
I didn't know that he did stuff like that.
Yeah,
I mean, he runs a show on his YouTube every day, cross examinations. He's pretty fundamentalist Christian.
yeah, no, and I'm fine with that. You know, like that's the thing. I read Lone Star, and it comes across not the pride of sin thing. I'm not one to like try to beat him over the head with that. You know, that's not the only thing. But you read Lone Star, just like his product, it reads where it's like EVS has Clinton in his book, but it's not political. It's just like it's a historic marker of like this story starts in 1998, and the Monica Lewinsky thing I think was going on. And so there's no agenda. There's no like left or right, you know, because he's a conservative, but he's showing Clinton. There's no like damage to Clinton or bashing or propping him up. It's just he's there. In Lone Star, it's like the villainous, like cliffhanger villain for the next issue is like talking to a group of like soy boys and feminists, like just all these kind of stereotype imagery for
on the nose
the
stuff,
left, on the nose. Lone Star, you know, is like kicking the ass of like these like rapist Mexican gang, you know, and it's just like, you know, like what the, you know, on the nose. So that turned me off already. And then just, you know, interactions or whatever, you know, like I was
so corny, isn't it?
Yeah, it's corny. Let me see. We had North American Ham Memory. He said Doug only focused on his book. EVS was lifting up a dozen others. That was the point I was trying to make with you, Max, about like, yeah, he was late, but like he was sacrificing, you know, for other people. So it wasn't like I'm getting everything. Greg A says the reason Doug screwed those backers is because he got a boost on EVS's stream after he put his order in. He was too cheap to place another order to fulfill the overseas backers. Yeah, he got like 50,000 that last night, including my cell for Bigfoot Bill. We got Speaker for the Dead. What's up, man? Black Daddy says Doug also had his international backers pay him more via PayPal for the shipping of the books. It's still 106 got screwed on the book they bought. Damn. It's even more details.
Well, as long as he gave him a refund, you know, otherwise, you guys should really take it up with him. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's not something I want to see happen on any other campaign, though.
Hey, Generation Productions. What's up, man? Sorry I didn't get you on. I couldn't get you on that Ollie stream. Oh, really quick. I meant to say this earlier. I was having fun with the bull story, but for Ollie, there may be an update for the story for Lloyd Jones and family of Oliver Jones with the Spider-Man tombstone. Just stay tuned for, you know, near future uploads. Hopefully I'll get enough info I can cover it for you. And it sounds, you know, cautiously optimistic, you know, for the story. I'll just say that.
Well, speaking of you know, fulfillment promises and stuff, do we have time to talk about stealing Solo?
Sure. Yeah, I'll hear you out. First off, did you ever? I know you just, you know, Family Channel, but how many people have you seen like reviews of or what? Because it seems everyone's review is just let me crap on it about this fulfillment thing. Like no one's like. I think I saw one person actually review it after they did a review, quote unquote, that was just crapping on the situation, you know, around it.
I saw a couple guys. I don't know if it's kosher to name them, but yeah, there's a few that I saw. See, there's a kid named Brandon King with a small YouTube channel by the same name. He had a good review. Stealing Yodo. There was, I think Fan Advocacy Network had it. I think the fairest to Jeff was the Rookie Critic. Yeah, that dude bothers me on a whole nother level, but you know, he had a pretty recent
Critic. Oh,
yeah.
okay. We'll have to talk about the Rookie Critic.
Uh-oh.
I don't know. He had some tweet out there. He was pulling out some cookies on the job at Subway, and he's like, "Oh, for the ladies of Fandom Menace, like, hey, dude, you're on the clock. Don't
oh, come on. We got to have some fun in life.
Not a
he's a sandwich artist. Give him a break.
Oh my god.
We got to give some people. He's a nice. If you met him at Subway, you'd be like, man, that was a nice guy. I'm giving him a tip.
I would be like, why the fuck are you on the phone? Excuse me, can we cuss on here?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I did.
Why the fuck are you on the phone and I'm waiting on a fucking sandwich, Jeff?
You're one.
No,
you're
no,
like
no.
that. No.
No. He's doing this before people are there. Or
Please, some Fandom Menace lady, please take his cookies.
we got Kiki Candy in here, and we got Rookie Critic in here. He says we weren't open yet, dude.
So why the fuck weren't you trying to get it open?
Oh, you just want your service. You just want your service now. You're. Oh, okay. I get it.
Anyway, that was all respect to Jeff for his fair review of Stealing Solo. A weird cookie situation notwithstanding.
I don't know what
you wouldn't take one of his cookies if you stand in front of you like that.
I would slap his hands out of my face. Get the
Oh my god. No.
Hey, I was a sergeant in the Army. You know, I see people fucking around on the job. I get really irritated, no matter where it is.
I mean, that's reality. Don't you have friends at work, or I don't know?
Wait.
Everyone
This
does
is the
this.
thing. You were in the Army. Like, you should be cool. I know you ended up being a bus, but like, you spent probably a good amount, half your career probably being, up to E4 before you got like NCO rank.
Yeah.
So you're like,
oh yeah, E4
think of the dumb shit you did, and translate that. I'm fucking around, but in this job.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we get split hairs on that all night,
I don't think anyone was worried besides you. I don't think anyone was really like, this fucker's fucking with cookies and filming himself.
It's
not like he did. It's not like he did anything to the cookies. That's a more reality to.
He's on the clock. He's literally doing his job. He's just playing around while no one's there before the store opens.
He's at work. I can respect that.
Subway and ask him why he's sexually harassing people on the clock with his cookies. His ass.
Do you really think it's sexual harassment? Like the ladies like it. Max, tell us about these Fandom Menace single ladies.
Oh, they love his cookies. Geeky Candy wants the white macadamia nut. Yeah, that's my.
That's so good.
Sorry.
Be nice to all the sandwich artists out there, please.
Yeah. Clock at Subway, do your job.
It's funny.
The
Senate says, I love the Senate. He says, "You're mad at someone filming cookies, bruh."
Yeah. Well, hey, I gotta say, like, the whole reason I'm online is to be angry at people. So
okay, all right, I get it.
I think that's the whole internet. Like, that's the point of the internet.
That's not what I'm. Even though I'm mad, Max. That's not. I don't want to be mad.
Max is like, dude, the madman is just like, calm down.
Yeah,
bro.
calm down, bro.
Mecha
McMadman. Whoa, bro.
Yeah, Solo, man. What a book, huh? What an adventure that's been. And he's talking about
have you read
another
the book?
round of funding? Are you kidding me?
He put up another Indiegogo?
Well, he was on the High Cancel Tuesday. He was like, "Oh, I'm gonna relaunch when Cash Grab's over." Relaunch? Really? Are you out of money? Can you not fulfill your original campaign? What's going on?
That's probably what it's for.
Yeah,
that's the speculation is that he needs to launch it again to pay for the reprint.
Oh, did moving to LA with Jesse cost that much?
Wait, Max. Wait. I'm just making sure I heard this right. You're saying?
I mean, I'm not saying that's for sure. I'm saying that's
your speculation.
That's speculation. Yeah.
Well, you realize he's got like Jeff isn't like a crazy dude. Like, he gets a lot of his stuff in his studio, his collection recently, since he has channels from people sending it. So I don't think, just meeting Jeff stuff, he doesn't seem like a crazy spender. I don't know for sure. He could have a coke habit for all I know. You don't know, but he seems like a pretty, even keeled guy money wise and stuff. So I don't, I think he's made a good
based on what?
I think he's made a good penny on YouTube, and I don't think he is one to just throw that away. Seems like kind of like Rob Jefferson on Comics when he talks about, like, be smart with your money, think of the future. I get that vibe from Jeff, having met him. I haven't watched him for a long time.
is something I mean, it's still speculation, but like something I've seen with a lot of these Indiegogos is by the time it's time to pay for stuff, they need to launch another one to get that. I mean, that's just my speculation. I can't prove anything there. And that's what a lot of talk on the internet's been about. Like, oh, they got to launch that just to fulfill the previous one. Because
like, I mean,
they kind of went to town. They kind of went to town when they saw the stuff coming in.
The only speculation I've ever heard like that was just speculation, mind you, people.
Well, like, do we know what the 106 went through exactly, or are we just speculating on that too with Doug?
Well, we have various foreign, overseas people reporting this that they never got fulfilled. They're like, "Here's, help me give you a refund." It's like, no, I want my book. Just make the book. Like send it to me.
Yeah, so let's get the original book fulfilled before Jeff talks about another Indiegogo.
From what I know, he's had this plan for before this ever fiasco happened. So this is just like his schedule.
I don't know. Anyone paying attention to this situation, I would say, don't give him the benefit of a doubt until he's produced something or produced a proof copy for the poor quality of the comic that came out. He's never answered for why there was no signatures. No one, I don't think anyone's ever received a T-shirt from the campaign or the other perks he talked about. There's a lot of questions he just like sat on and didn't answer. And then meanwhile, you got his girlfriend saying, "You're gonna get your book. Shut your stupid mouths." And no one in WARCAMPAIGN or Comicsgate said, whoa, that's completely antithetical to what we as a group established as standard operating procedure.
You need to get Daddy on, Angus. He has a lot to say on this stuff. He always wants in now, though. That's the problem. Daddy's going extreme crazy.
Yeah, because he's got a Kickstarter fulfillment, whatnot. I would say he's got a bias on this topic. We lost Terry again. Hopefully, it's just her earphones.
I got a bias for this too because I backed a lot of these things, and I see somebody like Jeff go out there and wear his clown shoes through a fiasco like this. I get worried.
Yeah, when you say he's not crazy, he seems responsible. He's also the one that said I could sue you. So I lost like a big respect with him. I'm like, bro, what do you do on the internet? You're the first one that You're the first one to kick Rose Tico toys in the Toys R Us, and then EVS was a low point. EVS saying scab puppy kickers, criticizing Jeff. He deserves it because he's the first one to criticize others when he obviously did not know what exceeding industry standards was. I don't see any attempt to exceed industry standards. That is low class bullshit.
Yeah, and then his girlfriend.
I mean, if he said, "This is my first comic. I appreciate the support. This is something I want to try," you'd get a lot more leniency and forgiveness than the way he responded and the way he promoted it. And he probably got the money there because he says exceeds industry standards. Signed copy. There was no attempt there to me.
You see huge asses cheesy in there?
Now, is that like your backup or is this a different guy? Because
the
cheesy throws me off. I've seen huge ass before.
Probably in the bathroom or something, right?
In a WARCAMPAIGN.
My whole thing with the stealing solo was he let Jesse put out a video saying Jeff's a nice guy. All right, first of all, you collected $52,000 on a book. I don't give a fuck if you're the nicest guy in the world. You got a product to deliver, and you deserve no benefit of the doubt other than the money that you were given. That's not meritocracy. That's the fucking little club we got going. And then Jeremy comes on and says, "Oh, I'm standing by Jeff no matter what." Well, what about standing by his customers? Who's their advocate?
Both of these movements have gone away from, I think, consumer movement.
Yeah,
just personalities and internet groups and cliques.
Yeah, who's going to hold his feet to the fire? And instead, it's just this little cliquey little Fandom Menace club. Oh, we protect our own. Well, you don't protect the customers.
The ultimate counter. I can agree to the sentiment for sure. I understand. But ultimately, the customers will decide if, hey, you fucked up.
I hope so. I hope no one
Fucked up,
blames this guy.
hey, you gotta prove us this. Next time around, you're gonna only get the hardcore people, and we'll have to get validation from them before we trust you again. And even then, it might not happen. I think that's fair with this fiasco, but given from all we know, the Suyu thing, whether or not he can or not, doesn't matter. Just saying that was, I think in the moment and dumb.
Completely antithetical to CG. At least that's how I came
Well,
in.
the other thing that put me off,
being a YouTuber, and you criticize, this is the name of the game in Fandom Menace. We're critical, regardless if it's pro or con. We're doing criticism in large. So it's when people are, whether it's actually slander or not, it's like it's a fine line to try to figure out with this whole YouTube game. Just be the bigger guy. Don't say that, especially when your campaign is going through this kerfuffle, to say the least. I can.
Yeah, and take the balls out of your girlfriend's purse and say, take that fucking video down before you embarrass me any further.
Yeah, that's like a boyfriend girlfriend. It's like a relationship thing. So
yeah, exactly. I'm not going to be misogynistic here and say, but you know what? You're clearly in a relationship with somebody, and they're telling your customers to shut up. That's a fucking problem.
Well, he also was on some stream saying, I took time out of my day to make this video. I'm like, what? You really think real highly of yourself.
Yep.
You have to. You should be begging for forgiveness. Honestly,
Yeah.
Anyone in that situation, and say, I took time out of my day to respond. What the hell? That showed me a lot about the person. I know the personality. He's a good personality. I lost a lot of respect that whole situation. Sorry.
Yeah, and the fact that Jeremy, who's out there promoting this whole channel based on holding everyone else's feet to the fire, just curled up and said, "Oh no, Jeff's cool. Jeff's a cool guy. I'm gonna stand by him."
To you, because he's in your group.
Yeah,
he's a nice guy to you. Okay.
It sucks for your consumer.
He's also the guy that started the potato sack of Kelly Marie Tran, calling her a potato sack. real nice guy.
I don't see that. He's not calling her like, "Hey."
I mean, that's his right to do. That's his right to do.
Sack.
Yeah, that's his right to do it. But don't say he's a puppy. He's no puppy.
Yeah, no, I can see the like the clicky feel or whatever. But like, I don't think they've really had something besides EVS, which he's taken it from the beginning. They haven't really had something like that happen to their own. As far as like top guys, someone with a project like this. So a lot of fresh, hard feelings and whatnot. If their guy getting hit at, it's new. Especially Jeff is very neutral with a lot of things, so he never really gets a target on his back, unlike Jeremy or EVS with whatever.
EVS has got charismatic guy as a salesman. I know what the perception is when he was doing all those Indiegogos to help other creators, but you have to kind of respect your audience more. Maybe you should have done portfolio reviews before pushing it and saying the art's as good as another artist in the industry. That's what I said. Maybe we wouldn't be at this point if he did portfolio reviews before he pushed it on his audience.
I don't know. I did a review of Stealing Solo. I feel I was fair because my main thing was critiquing the story, and I said with the art, it's kind of all over the place. Like there's panels where it's like he's showing like an angled perspective, but it feels flat. But then other ones like the full page spread of Solo in his basement costume, it like has real dynamicism to it. So Jeff has a lot of talent. Maybe got corners here and there, just trying to get it done. I don't know. But I think overall it's a solid story. It had some stuff. I think if he had an editor, like an extra person look at it, like, oh dude, you talk about this all the time, how about you do this with Harrison Ford? Overall, I gave it, I think 7 out of 10. It was okay.
I have not read it, and I give it a 0 out of 10.
Well, I don't think it's fair to review it not having read it.
That's fair. That's completely fair.
But yeah, anything else before I get the next guy in here?
Who's the next guy?
Oh, that's a surprise.
Oh God. Well, I'd really like to talk about some of the stuff we talked about in DMs earlier, but if this is not the right time for that, we can
Well,
to the time.
the
Well,
thing is,
here's one more thing I'll add to this feeling solo, Angus. You said the art was hit or miss. Did it? Was it professional talent? You think that's what he puts on his perk? I mean, these are you have to hold people to their perks if they're asking for money.
well, you see, that's such,
professional talent.
Abstract. That's such an abstract thing to. Because I just read something like I think it's Bezamina, and that's got like this the guy did like Zathura, Jumanji stuff. It's got this really crazy, interesting art, but some people might be totally perturbed by it because of the story. There's things with like shitty art or like very gringy art, like Sweet Tooth, which is one of my favorite graphic novel series. But it's like it's like a 9 out of 10. You know, so it's subjective. There's things that those graphic novels that are just like dog shit art, where it's like a fifth grader drew this, but the story's good. So it's really a wide spectrum. It's not like a movie where everyone uses just film or digital, and you can say this is great, this sucked, it was blurry. Game of Thrones season 8, the battle is too dark. It's a lot easier to do film than it is comics, where you're trying to say this art is great, this art sucks. Like someone can see Joe Ball's art for Superhero Chapter 1 and think it sucks. I think it's phenomenal. I think it has a real character to it. So there's a subjectivity to critiquing art that the panels with like the screwed up what do you call it? The text or whatever, those didn't look good. I can say
which
that.
could have been remedied by a.
Those are.
Well, the reason he's getting the heat is I don't think he's the first, but he's the one that really made Colin Shill and Dumpster Fire popular. So when you call his this whole campaign a dumpster fire, is that fair?
I don't know, because
I'm bringing it up to Angus tonight.
All I know,
that's his damn channel name. He's the world-class bullshitter.
Yeah.
All I know is that
what a cocky son of a bitch.
Oh,
Right.
what do you call it? I'm trying.
You gotta bring it if you're gonna call people shills. This is a dumpster fire talking about Star Wars, and then your campaign is a damn dumpster fire that doesn't exceed nothing.
Really quick.
I know you're trying to be soft. You're trying to be
soft.
You're trying. Well, you're kind of like you like him, so I respect that.
No, yeah.
But you say saying subjective. Oh, you gotta. I think the proof is in the pudding. I don't think there was any attempt to exceed anything, and there was people working on it, but professional talent exceeding standards, low class bullshitters.
Well,
I'm sorry. I'm in a weird mood tonight, Angus. Sorry.
Phenomenal, so like I legitimately try to be fair to people, especially with art projects. So
sorry, the old man's creeping in tonight. I gotta watch that. Maybe I didn't need Daddy in here sooner. Man,
you got me wanting to yell, Mac.
Sorry,
I'm in a weird mood tonight.
But no, you were asking campaign wise, called Dumpster Fire. Well, he's late. But
he's late as
far as I know, the fulfillment, that whole thing, the fiasco with the shipping, as far as we know, the printer has accepted the fault for that. So that's all I can go on.
So someone shows me anything from the printer about that.
That's him. That's spin.
Okay, it might be spin, but I have not seen anything to disprove
those signatures. He never mentioned why that happened.
I'm under the assumption that he was going to sign them.
Did you have signature on
I think EVS signed them at the fulfillment center, so it's not like it has to be at his house.
If he would have had tempted to sign it, he would have known the truth.
Yeah, he would have saw. Oh shit! Why is this text box out of the bounds?
Yeah, what were you asking, McCheese?
I don't know, man. We all got lost, didn't we?
All right, I am going to send the link to the next guest. You're in the chat. And any last words, McCheese? I know you started your channel intro. Do you plan to do comic reviews? You're talking about you want to make a comic, that your son can be proud of.
Yeah, that's my whole mission statement, is to call out any kind of soy-based entertainment. Anytime a man surrenders power and leadership to a woman, it's just not how the real world works. How many women firefighters do we have? We got to train our boys to be heroes. and that's my whole mission statement. So I'm gonna be doing comic reviews, movie reviews, any kind of pop culture stuff where I see men just not living up to what I believe a man should be, and that's primarily being strong.
Oh, cool.
So that's my whole mission statement. Are you kicking me off now?
Yeah, I'm about to. I mean, you just dropped the link. No, I was letting you say your piece, though. Kind of talk about who you are at the end.
Oh, okay.
All right. It's a hot take.
Well,
It's a hot take.
bringing me on, man.
Yeah, it's no problem. I'm here to have conversation. At first I was like, I kind of had that, I would say conditioned response of like, whoa, how many women firefighters, all that. But it's like, well, when you have the media push just like women all the time, kind of incessantly, and things were just like, I didn't know this was a problem, I'm fine with women doing this, but they make it like it's like we have to fight for every position we have. Maybe a response like yours isn't so crazy to kind of push back and help us find a middle ground.
Be men, be strong, be honorable.
Hua.
Yeah, hua.
I can at least say hua. All right, we got Tear back. I'm going to kick you now. Thanks for coming on.
Later. See you, Mac.
All right, see you, Mecca.
We had Tara said feminism is toxic. All right, let me send this link really quick.
I'm sorry, Angus. I went a little old school madman tonight. I don't know what was
No. Yeah, Firestarter. I am dropping the link now.
Firestarter. That's he's gonna bring it in hot.
Yeah, I mean, I listened to a little bit of like the beginning of a stream he had him on. I'm like, oh, and so just that, and saw McCheese. He seems reasonable, but definitely
people don't know when he was on my stream. He was trying to hold back. That's just his personality. He was trying hard. They don't know. My dog is attacking me.
Yeah, you got the link. Firestarter, just jump in and I'll add you. He's already here. He's ready.
Hello.
Hey!
Let me catch me chat.
Hey!
No, I'm sorry. It's my dog is like biting my
to
get my attention.
Do you have to walk your dog, man? Because sometimes I have to do that before he goes to sleepy sleep.
No, she doesn't like it when I live stream because I'm not spending time with her. So she tries to get my attention, to rip up laundry or go in the cellar, get some laundry, rip it up, and put it in my lap. And now she's attacking my sleeve. Sorry.
That's funny.
Oh man, you're good. I'm looking. Let me look over this chat really quick on my phone. I'm catching up with you guys. Geeky Candy is having a good time here. We got Lethal Lightning saying, "Max, your dog is showing." We'll put it away, Max. Save it for, off air.
Was that worth it? Was that worth it?
Great counsel. If you're still in here, no, I wasn't worried about having you on during the conversation. It's just I already got Max in here, and I got Tara. I'm trying to keep it fair and balanced and center. And I feel you got a kind of a one-sided take on that matter.
He's had issues in the past with just going one side and people getting upset. He tries to keep it even keeled.
Yeah, I feel people in the chat let me know if you feel like I'm being fair or not, and I'll address it. If people don't know, Jeff W is the rookie critic,
and I'll take his cookies anytime.
Oh, nice. We got North American Hammer says, "For the love of the old gods, why are people pretending that first-time creators who are building an independent industry from scratch have all the wrinkles ironed out?" Yeah, I think that is fair. There is a handicap, I guess, that should be given to all creators that are starting out.
May I comment on that, please?
Sure.
He took the money like he had all the wrinkles ironed out.
Yeah, he promoted it that way, exceeding industry standards.
That was his words.
Professional artists.
Sorry, man.
Well, yeah, that's the thing, though. It's like I legitimately mean it when I'm talking about like art being subjective compared to like film or something. It's a lot easier.
Well, indie comics have been before Comicsgate too, haven't they?
Yeah, but I mean, when you're talking about like,
so what did I like EVS? But what did he really revolutionize? Bringing Comicsgate live and having that hype show with everyone getting their books fulfilled. But I mean, I want them to succeed. I don't want anyone to fail. I'm just saying you give him more credit than I think he deserves. I think he deserves some credit for sure.
He had an impressive fundraiser. I mean, there's no any way to slice that. Did he raise over $1 million or pretty damn close?
EVS, yeah, I think he's crossed 1 million now.
He cracked 7 figures. Yeah, that's a highly impressive fundraiser.
Mhm.
Highly impressive. And I'm being completely serious when I say that. But Jeff, on the other hand, what he could have done is he could have said, I have a passion project. I'd like to accept some donations for some supplies. And then he could have released it as a webcomic and give people who donated a copy of it. But he took that money.
Or
he took that money. He took that 54K or whatever it was. That's a lot of money, dude. To some people that don't have a lot of money, 54K is a lot of money.
Or just kept the Indiegogo as is and said that this is my first comic. I want to try something new. If you're a fan of the channel, I'd really appreciate the support. And then people would not be as harsh when it became a dumpster fire.
Well, that's the thing, though. You took people's money and didn't deliver the product. And, the challenge is that it appears that he already spent the profits, which is profoundly stupid. What he should have done is taken a little bit of money and buy the art supplies or whatever he needed to buy, and then you put the rest in the market. You get about you buy a stock like Verizon, you get 5% on your money, and then you let that grow, liquidate the stock when it's time, and then you move forward from and then you're able to fulfill and then buy a couple extra books in case there's some bad shipments or whatever, and then you kind of move from there. So to me, at the end of the day, this was he probably started off with best intentions and then went into damage control mode and then went into self-preservation mode and fuck everyone else because they're not going to do anything about it. Let's be honest about that. No one's going to sue him. No one's going to hold him accountable. Indiegogo is not going to do anything. And the reality is he got to bilk these people for their money. And this is why I don't back independent campaigns on anything. And if somebody wants to come for me for like an investment or something like that, we can drop a contract, but I don't want to be those people that say that I was first and get digital backpats. If I'm going to spend money on something, I want to make sure I'm getting what I pay for. And clearly the backers did not get that in this case.
No, it's fair. The lateness is fair.
And the lack of signatures, the lack of hats, the lack of shirts, and the lack of posters.
Well, yeah, all I know is he's late, and I don't know anything about his fulfillment plan. Like I said earlier with, what's his name? McCheese. He could have waited, for them to call him up to start signing at the fulfillment center, probably get a hotel in the city where the fulfillment was taking place.
How could he do that when he was planning a move and he just got laid off and he exhausted the funds allegedly?
Yeah, I don't know.
The only thing I have to contribute to this,
wait.
you have to pay. Like, business is important. If you're going to jump into something concerning business and take somebody's money as an investment into what you're doing, you have to take care of those people first. And that's any business, comics, anything, all the way up to government. It's important. And if you don't do that, then you have nothing, because you are nothing without the people who support you.
What I want to say is we can't know for sure that he spent the funds, but the optics look bad, and he went super defensive when he's at, and that's a kind of a tell.
Well, here's the thing too. He said that no refunds because he had just lost his job. What does that have to do with the $54,000 that was generated?
Nothing.
Okay, nothing. Right. Sounds about right. So to me, at the end of the day, it probably started off well and good. And then he got all that money. He has a new girlfriend. Obviously, he's going to spend some cash to impress her, and I respect that. I do. I'm married 9 years, so I mean, and we've been together since 2000. Holy shit, it's been 2004, so 16.
That's something
16.
to be proud of.
Yeah, I'm very proud of it. Yeah, I'm very proud of it. And
let's see your comment there, Firewater.
Yeah, all right. So at the end of the day, it's you took that public money, you're responsible for it. And he apparently, again, I don't have 100% proof, but if he's not offering refunds, and he said because the reason is because he got laid off, that is indicative that the money's spent. And I hope to God he paid his taxes on it. I hope he paid his 1099, because if not, he is in deep shit.
They'll come for him.
I assure you, the government, the IRS takes their sweet time building a case.
Oh yeah.
Like, they don't miss.
No,
They
they'll
don't
come
miss
for it.
Sky Williams, famous YouTuber, right? People could like him or not, but he had almost 1 million subs. He got whacked hard because he assumed they took the taxes out already. And I like the guy. I met him. And my thought on that was he always assumed that because he didn't want to believe the other. So he's like, oh, yeah, they already took the taxes out. IRS won't bother me. Yeah, they whacked him for like 80K or something like that, plus penalties, plus interest.
I've got tax lawyers in my family, so I know about 1099s. That is no joke. They will come for you.
Yeah. End of the day, just any creator, whether it's Jeff Hicks with 100K channel or a first time new guy with a small channel starting out in CG, ultimately the customers are going to respond and show how long a leash they have. So that's kind of where I'm at with it. It's like
sure.
I'd be hesitant with a second campaign, just waiting to see how it fell through for people and see like if he did like a variant, backup after the first fulfillment or something. Kind of like,
he says he's gonna have something else going on. It's been 30 days since he announced that. More than 30 days, actually. I think it's been closer to 40.
I've known about something for a while. And I'm excited. I'd love to get that version that I've heard about. But I'm not going to disclose anything because I'm not sure what else has been delineated about it. But Firewater, I want to get your take.
Sure.
Where are you at with CG in general, Fandom Menace?
CG, I don't have much of an opinion on. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't follow too many comics. The only reason I pay attention to Stealing Soul is because of the Fandom Menace. So, and sorry, what was the rest of your question? What's my deal with the Fandom Menace?
No, not what's your deal. Like, I'm like, oh, what's your deal, man? Shut the fuck up. I mean, like,
I didn't mean it like that. My apologies.
Where are you? Like, where are you? Like, how did you come into any of these conversations as a voice? Are you like a fallen member, or are you in it?
Well, I mean, I don't know if this was public. I was a Patreon supporter of Geeks and Gamers for a couple of months when they had it up. And
I didn't know this.
Yeah, no, that's 100% true. I was your supporter, so it's $20 a month. And then because I initially liked the message regarding The Last Jedi, but then there's like 2,000 videos about it. It's like, okay, why don't we move on to something else? And it became clear to me that this was kind of like forced faux outrage to a degree, and my dude needed to pay bills, and I understand that, but I was no longer going to support that. Okay. So, and he also at the time tried to do political messaging on his Geeks and Gamers channel, and I flat out said him when I canceled my Patreons, this is not what I paid for, and I can it's no longer financially viable for me to support this medium. So what it comes down to is that, after The Last Jedi, I got kind of burnt out of Star Wars. I was watching a lot of Star Wars Theory and Stupendous Wave prior to The Last Jedi. Last Jedi came, I was like, I guess. Saw some other people that were kind of upset, and I was like, all right, yeah, that's fair. That's reasonable. But then it's just kind of like I wanted to move on with my life. Like, okay, an entertainment product I love, and I've been watching Star Wars since my father had bootleg copies when I was a young kid. I just like, okay, that's it. I'm done. It's just not a big deal. I'll wait for the next one to come out. I did not see Solo in theaters. I just didn't get an opportunity to see it. And plus I wasn't rushing to get there. I saw it on digital, and I thought it was a decent movie. I thought it was better than The Last Jedi. And same with 9. I thought 9 was better than The Last Jedi. Unfortunately, that won't be validated in the marketplace. But the problem with my challenges with the Fandom Menace is like, what do you guys do? What do you do?
We're critics. That's
critics.
What I say. In large, I joined kind of unknowingly. I joined before it had like a movement name, but just as a bullshitter follower. For whatever reason, after I saw their Last Jedi spoiler video, I'm like, I just keep clicking on, waiting to see new updates about Last Jedi. So like, oh, is this real or not? And I just kept listening to them, going through their catalog. Even though talking about comics and shit, I didn't know anything about comics. I'm like, what the fuck are they talking about? This politics or what?
Actually, I just read an article that Star Wars and The Walking Dead were the best-selling comics in 2019.
Yeah, Star Wars was number one.
I wouldn't doubt it. I'll give
Well-
them credit. They're making their comics make up for Last Jedi. The writers are, threading a needle just like JJ. They're trying to.
Yeah, JJ was given a very tall task. He probably should have split 9 into 2 movies, but I kind of get why maybe Iger wants to move on and get some new shit out there. I do understand that because it did not sell. Maybe it didn't sell as well as it did. I like Disney Star Wars. I think they have more good than bad. But they're not perfect. Kathleen Kennedy appears to be an inefficient leader. My guess is that after her contract, after the new Indy film comes out, Indiana Jones comes out, she's probably going to be wrapping up because she probably has her hand in multiple things. But at the end of the day, Disney Star Wars is profitable. It made money.
As long as they don't put Taika Waititi in next, I'm good.
That's the rumor.
I know it is, but I hate
I'm not
him.
kidding about that either. I'm not
stand him.
I should have went with that rumor. I was on a stream with Daddy in Star Wars only, and
what's wrong with what's your gripe with Taika Waititi?
No, I said I think he might be
mine.
Yeah, Terrence.
I think he has, as an actor, and like that. I think he's great as a person. Fine, but as a director, he has some childish humor that I don't like. For example, Mandalorian episode 8.
I thought that shit was dope.
The Moff Gideon stuff, it dragged on too long. Like, if somebody talked to me that long while they were trying to kill me, I would be out there in their face.
All right, sure.
It was too. There was a lot of dull parts. Like,
oh wow, okay.
It kind of dragged on for me. I think Deborah Chow should be the one to take the lead.
I don't have a problem with that. I think
I would say
she was more exciting. It was more engaging. It was more invigorating. I like her. I don't like Thor with Taika Waititi. I will not see Love and Thunder because it's just
okay.
You have to like drop acid before you go see his show. I'm not into it.
That'd be a trip.
That would be.
Yeah.
I really want to drop acid and watch Ragnarok. That sounds awesome.
If that's the way it happens, I'm good with it. But if I have to go in just sober, then nah. I don't want to see it.
Not going to fly for you. I understand.
The humor is acquired taste. If you don't like it, it's cringy.
I wouldn't mind Deborah Chow.
I personally like his humor, but I only like it like once. Rewatching his stuff with the humor, I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Stay focused. We're talking about famous stuff. So, Henry Remember's kind of giving me a point. I hadn't fleshed out. He says, "Battle in the culture." What do you mean? What do we do? We're already changing the way the established industry acts. I don't know about that.
Operationalize that for me. Cite specific examples.
I don't know about that, but I agree with that's the intent. That's the angle.
Okay,
that's the purpose. I think though, we're in a growing pain phase of, it's like, oh, JJ said the Fandom Menace. And it's like, no, he said it kind of mockingly. Oh, what do you call it? The fan, it's like he's swatting a fly. I never bought into that being like, we won or something. I felt it was kind of a diss, but clearly he served a lot of the talking points we had narratively about the story of Star Wars with the sequel trilogy. A lot of the complaints with Last Jedi.
I have something to add when you're done.
We're shifted around as best they could while still maintaining the canon. But I think the growing pain is Fandom Menace needs to become like Comicsgate in the sense of becoming creators, not just like, hey, I made a video, but sorry, what I try to get people to focus on is like, look at Rookie Critic. He's about the only example, maybe Stephen Walton as well, writing a book. Whether you think it's purposeful or not, Max, I don't care. He's creating something. He's showing initiative, and whether that project itself is good or not, that might inspire others. They see like, hey, this can be at least break even, worthwhile for me, or maybe they just see something like Star Wars Only, where it's like, I love this, I'll lose money because I love this thing. I think that's what the feminist needs to figure out is like, quit worrying about the IPs you love because they're owned by companies that aren't going to serve you in large. And try to make something yourself. That's
I don't see that. I don't really see that working. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm sorry. Now,
I'll give you a counter really quick. I'll give you a counter.
Okay.
And I don't follow Comicsgate really, but Vox Day was a guy trying to be in Comicsgate. I don't know the full extent, but he's kind of like an ethno-state or kind of white purist or whatever.
Yeah.
He funded $1 million crowdfunding. I don't know the state of the project thus far yet since then, but he crowdfunded $1 million for his alt hero character. And it's like, are you telling me the Fandom Menace just Geeks and Gamers alone with their fan base with the 200 how many subs or Nerdrotic? Tell me channels that size couldn't get eyes on a big project, get $1 million or $2 for something?
No.
I think they could.
No, sir. I would. You know what? I'd love to see it happen. I don't see it happening. I think the numbers are over exaggerated. I know there's 200K subs. I get that, but again, one of the things I've been trying to do, and I said this on the Jeremy stream, is find out the demographic information of the Fandom Menace. How many are there? Who's in it? What's their spending power? It's a very difficult. All I have is circumstantial evidence right now, which doesn't really add up. I'm not confident that I can make a claim, an educated claim on it at this point, but I do get tidbits of information. Hilariously, that's not going to happen, dude. I'm sorry. I don't mean to be rude. That's not going to happen. If Jeremy needed to back a project for something, he's not going to raise $1 million. I'm sorry. If I'm wrong, then he could throw it in my face. That's fine. I'm okay with it. Jeff Hicks raised $50,000. That's impressive. Ethan Van Sciver, on the other hand, is a professional artist for 25 years. He's made a name for himself by going to conventions and appearing in and writing and drawing multiple books for different companies, the big two. And that's more of an outlier, in my opinion. Plus, a comic is much easier to produce than a movie, I would argue.
No, I agree, but this guy, crowdfunded to make a film for his comic, and he's like a newer guy in the comic sphere, so that's kind of. But
doesn't he have other celebrity that leans into that?
I would say a little bit from Chuck Dixon, being the Bane creator and stuff, being associated, but I don't know how much that would.
I'm sorry, who is this? Who raised the money? You're saying that Vox Day guy?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Vox Day.
I mean, he's relatively famous, is he not?
Yeah, I don't know how much, especially with like his niche that he appeals to. I don't, it's like this extreme niche got $1 million funding.
Yeah, maybe.
That's what I'm saying. Is like an extreme niche got $1 million. So how crazy is it to say, let's say the Fandom Menace is like 500K overall, with like kind of the.
I think that is grossly exaggerated. I'm sorry. The official Fandom Menace Discord when I was last on it had 60 people on it. Geeks and Gamers Discord barely. I don't even think they had 1,000 when I was there. You look at the tweets at the Fandom Menace, it's the same usual players. Now, granted, there's probably rank and file people that aren't on social media, but how many of these people are ponying up? Stephen Walton got his fulfillment, but he set the bar very well. Now with Stealing Solo coming out, I would be surprised if anyone backed anything from the Fandom Menace. I personally don't recommend it. I think it would be a waste of money. You have a 50-50 shot so far of it going bust. But it would, that's what it comes down to. But you're saying you're going to raise all this money. I don't see it, dude.
No. I didn't say they would. I said this is like an idea. This is the growing pains. I think the Fandom Menace needs to transition from just being critical.
Put up or shut up. I get your point.
The article. Okay, so the article videos that we've done, in the Menace for going on 2 years now, they started as let's validate our position by showing you what the media is saying. All right. Now we're at a point where they purposely have shown their hand, just like CNN with Trump, where it's like, I don't care, fuck you. That's their position against us. And so it's like, quit validating them. They aren't going to, even if they totally agree about, like Scott Mendelson agrees about.
They're dependent on each other right now.
Yeah, it's like if
they all need the money. It's a bunch of people on the internet relying on each other. They wink towards each other. Oh, that's my name, Ethan Van Sciver, in the article.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if Mendelson agrees or not. He's with Forbes. Forbes is never going to validate Menace. But yeah, we agree with the Menace. They're going to like check the same boxes, but ultimately say you're Trumpers, you're Nazis, you're beside whatever, ist or ism or whatever of the day,
Well, I think the Fandom Menace are unreasonable customers.
I can see that. I've said,
therefore,
it's like,
if I'm running a business, if there's an unreasonable customer, I'm going to have them take up the least amount of my time as humanly possible.
Yeah, no, I can parlay that.
I I think the only thing the Fandom Menace has done has hurt fans' credibility and have them never listen to us because now they're like, this is what they do.
They gave
every
you the
single
fan
time.
service in 9, and it's not doing as good as The Last Jedi. Well, then that fuck off. I'm going to listen to you guys again.
Yeah, no, I see. This is the thing. I think you have blanket, and reasonably to a degree, there's like a blanket feeling about the Menace, but it's like there's individuals in here. Like my takes are very different from.
Well, then don't take a group identity if you're going to use an individual argument.
No, like the Menace is about like I feel.
Well, here's the thing. I've gotten multiple definitions about the Fandom Menace. The problem is that there's no leadership, there's no organization, there's no exclusionary criterion to remove bad actors. So at the end of the day, I was on a stream with other people, and they were nice ladies that were on there. I'm not going to name their names. They were very nice, very sweet. And they knew a little bit, but I was able to poke holes in all their arguments. I haven't been able to get one consistent definition about what the Fandom Menace is because there is no organizational structure. It's just a bunch of chickens with their heads cut off running around, in all honesty. Yeah, are we boycotting the thing? Are we not? Wasn't there like a little civil war over that? You know, how are we going to say Disney Star Wars sucks and then give them money? How does that work?
No. I agree. That's what I was going to say a minute ago with like unreasonable customers. I can agree with that because there's like this mixed signal. You can't. I've been calling this out. You know, I try to be self-critical in the movement. You know, it's like you can't cry about Disney Star Wars and then pay them be part of the what
and then say how great the Mandalorian is.
No. It's not.
Well, you pay for that too.
I didn't pay for it.
Well, I'm just saying in general.
Yeah, in general, that's the thing is like there's a difference between saying your product is good, whether or not you like the producers of product, versus I'm paying you, but despite bitching for 2 years about everything you've done. That's the problem. Is you give a mixed signal where it's like, man, maybe we should listen to these people. They're really loud. They're really angry about last product, but then you make new product and you get 10 million people sign up day one for Disney Plus. I don't know how many of that was the Fandom Menace. There's no metric, but clearly a part of it, given all the videos available. Some of it was Verizon memberships or whatever. But that's what I'm saying, like the mixed message, or like with episode 9, you know, you can hate the general narrative, but there's clearly an attempt to appease episode 8 haters like myself. And I see it and I'm like, thank you. This was 2.5 hours of fuck The Last Jedi. And I love it. Just for that attempt. And they did things that were narratively, I would say, what we've talked about. Go this way, do this, and they're still bitching whatever against it. That's the mixed message that I can agree with on a large scale, but I think that's the growing pains of like you want to hold on, but you want to hold on to what you love, but it's not going to.
Well, I don't understand what's stopping people from doing that. What is stopping people from just enjoying the original trilogy or the prequel trilogy and the OT and Clone Wars? What is stopping people from doing that? The ultimate thing, you want to inspire change, and Odin does have a point here. It appears to be trending down. That's correct. However, it's still profitable. Solo lost money, but everything else made money. And actually, I heard that the Disney Star Wars movies on average grossed more than the Marvel movies, dollar for dollar on average. Which to me, that people could shit on Kathleen Kennedy all day. She's a quote unquote winning producer or winning president. Overall, her properties make money. Now, maybe it should have made more, but also maybe George Lucas should have finished his own fucking work. He sold it, and I said this on another stream. He sold it, and he sold it before a tax law was changing that would have cost him $500,000. He could trip over that. $500 million in capital gains taxes, and he changed it before Obama changed the law or had it voted on by the Senate and House. So, to me, at the end of the day, if maybe the fans of the original trilogy that shit on the prequel didn't shit on him, maybe we would have had 7, 8, and 9 with everyone, and Carrie Fisher still would have been alive and all that other stuff, and it all would have been done, and then he could have been sold it. So at the end of the day, it's Disney bought it, and then they did what they pleased with it. And honestly, I don't have a problem with that. If I'm a businessman and I buy somebody's business, I'm going to do what I want with it. If I buy your steakhouse and you say, "Oh, can you leave the Black Angus signature steak on there?" I'd really appreciate it. No, fuck you. I bought it. Don't sell it to me.
Yeah,
You
no,
know?
I think that is fair. It is fair. Like, well, Lucas sold it. I've been critical of Lucas, so it's like, oh, you're sad. Iger says this, and people are outraged for Lucas. And it's like, I love Lucas, and I'll fucking bawl when he dies. My son's named after Lucas because I love Star Wars that much. But the fucker sold it. He sold his baby. You know, so he lost the love he had for it. So, like, you know, there's no takebacks in this
I don't
game.
blame him. Well, if he didn't get shit on by the fans, probably, and then they shit on his Red Tails movie, which he put blood, sweat, and tears into that.
That was
He's
not
just
a good
like,
movie.
well, I mean, like
The
I said,
prequels, Indiana Jones, and then Red Tails all together.
yeah, he just said, "Fuck it, I'm out, man." Okay, you guys win, I lose, you win. I'm just gonna sit here with my billions. You know, and to me, at the end of the day, there's a human cost to all of this. Money doesn't solve everything. It solves a lot of things. Don't get me wrong, but it doesn't solve everything. And you can't buy public opinion. You can't buy public favorability. And he put his blood, sweat, and tears into these prequels, and he got shit on for it.
Yeah, let me see. Ambassador here says, panel, here's my perspective on the Phantom Menace. For whatever purposes it served, I would say it has done that. Speaking out against putting negative social or political messages in media. That's the thing, though, is like with Comicsgate, there's, you know, it's like, hey, industry, please change. They go for like 2 or 3 years before there's like the brand Comicsgate, and they don't suit the customers that way. They keep politicizing. They keep making the industry on the inside where you have to toe a line or shut the fuck up. And so eventually, it's like EVS and Richard Meyer want to get in the industry. They just do their own thing and inspire others. Now you have Comicsgate where it's like, hey, if you got a story and you get an artist, like, you know, you put the effort in, you can make a comic. You know, you don't have to try to go through and toe the line at Marvel or DC or Image. That's the growing pains that I'm trying to inspire with, like Rookie Critic. You know, like I think he
What is he trying to do?
he's made a couple trilogies. He's networked with people all over the Menace and even outside.
What do you mean he's made trilogies? He's written them, he's filmed, he's acted in them. What do you define that?
Yeah.
For me?
Yeah, he's done all of that. Actually, he's been an editor, director, writer.
Of what films?
Well, these are, you know, like YouTube films. He's putting them together. The ones he did before this most recent one was like on his own dollar, his own time. So,
Okay. So what is he trying to raise money to make a fan film?
yeah, he's actually doing a GoFundMe for this next project, and he's put timelines on himself, deadlines and whatnot, and he's hit them, barring people submitting the pieces for him. You know, they're disjointed just because people are filming different quality cameras and stuff as far as like looks, but he makes it pretty solid.
I can't get behind that. I'm sorry.
It's got to start somewhere. Like that's the thing. That's the thing is like you got to start somewhere. So I don't get, you know, it's like you might be interested in seeing it, but it's like Rookie is trying to lead by example and start.
I'll give him that. Hopefully he delivers because, like I said, I wouldn't nothing personal. I wouldn't recommend backing any Fandom Menace product. You know, on all I need to
this
cite
is
solo.
This is the guy that's, you know, followed through with his deadlines. So
okay,
before he even had money to play with or the option.
What does he need the money for then?
Just for better camera, you know, maybe being able to take a bus to go X place to film instead of just doing it in his yard, things like that.
Is he taking a salary that we're aware of?
Taking a salary? No, this is just crowdfunding.
No, I said, is he paying himself for his time? I think that's reasonable to ask, given how Jeff Hicks handled his money.
He works. Yeah, he works at Subway.
No. You're not understanding. Is he taking the money and using it on non-project expenses?
No.
And you have proof of this?
I'm sure he could show the receipts.
Okay.
I felt to be an idea guy with the previous trilogies, so it's like, you know, like, hey, you know, I was trying to help crowdfund before and you know, managed, but just didn't get eyes on. So
I don't know. I think that Jeff Hicks really, you know what it is? It exposed my major criticism of the Phantom Menace is not so much the rank and file; it's the YouTubers as a grift, and he really exposed that inadvertently by his poor fulfillment of his book. And now other people are going to be like, all right, well, you know, we're supposed to be this group, and now certain people are hitting other people up for money. Okay, well, I thought we were just rallying against, you know, I mean, I just see it as a potential financial liability to the rank and file.
Really quick, Max, you said you gotta go, so what do you want to add to the chat before you go?
Oh, I was just thanks for having me on. I appreciate these long live streams. I think the conversation's hot though, but I like talk to everyone. Thanks, Angus, Firestarter. I love hearing you talk, and that's why I've been sitting back like this. I'm like, I could just
I know, man. I feel bad. I feel like
no. I enjoy it. Lots of people enjoy it. And Tara, nice meeting you, Tara.
Nice to meet you too.
So Ricky actually addressed you, Fire.
Okay.
Star. He says, once I have the GoFundMe up and running and make expenses, I will screenshot all purchases so people trust me with the investment. But yeah, no, he.
Okay, all right, that's reasonable response.
I think he just got monetized, maybe I don't know, maybe it was before. I'm not sure, but I think he had like a budget and he went over with like some of the equipment and stuff he got for like his previous trilogy. So he's put money, like his own money into his.
I think you should in your own passion projects invest in yourself, believe in yourself.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. Is like he has, so now he's trying to just elevate. And
and I think that's excellent.
Like he has a track record with his products where it's like he's collaborated, he's built them, and you see the progression not just of bigger ideas but like tighter writing. He's been a good writer from the get-go. But yeah, it's just like I noticed, like, dude, like you're really getting the character out of these people. It's awesome. And that's what it's like. I don't know where to start besides like that, or like I know there's a project with Stephen Walton film wise that I'm interested in as well.
Okay.
But
yeah, I mean, he fulfilled his book. I'll give him that. And Phobic Gino has a great comic. Fandom Menace was supposed to be about fandom and not a way to profit on hate and drama. I agree. But the problem is, I think once that dries up, because there is going to be outrage fatigue at some point, and when there is, then you're going to see these channels die off. I think with the closing of 9, I think there's going to the Bellerophon channels, I call them, the ones that will not get to monetize the outrage Mount Olympus. You're going to see them die off in 2020, and that's my prediction. In my opinion,
I think so. If they don't adapt,
how do you adapt from outrage?
People are getting tired of it. I mean, slowly but surely, people are getting tired of it. It's, I mean, it's wearing on everybody. It's like, all right, we're not in junior high. Give it a rest.
Yeah. Here's the thing.
More. The saga's done, whether people liked it or did not like it.
It's not even about the saga being done.
No.
It has a part, but here's the thing: is you got just I would say incessance of it, but also like Ghostbusters happened, but that's kind of a niche following, But Star Wars happened. Everyone was hyped to see what happens with Rey, like who she is and all this, and then you get Episode 8, and it's like, what is this politics crap? What's this feminist subtext, with Holdo and Poe? Like, what the fuck is this? Plus, all just the kind of like pissing on.
I think that's kind of overblown. The whole politic angle, I think, is overblown. But I do agree with you that the not explaining Rey, why is she special? I think if JJ did all 3, we live and die by that, and maybe it's great, maybe it's not. But at least, at the end of the day, it would have been consistent. And, and that's what it should have happened. And that's Kathleen Kennedy's leadership. There's no
whole point here, though, is that with Last Jedi, it was a shock. Like, you had the people in the know with Ghostbusters from the start, the Bullshers and people that found those type of followings of the Ghostbusters. And then Last Jedi happened, and everyone saw it. And now it's like, yeah, you got Captain Marvel, but like it's just a downward trend. Like no one's shocked when, oh my God, this thing is woke. This thing's got SJW. This one's got this SJW.
Define SJW politics for me, please. Operationalize that for me.
Operationalize that, man. It's tough.
Feige's doing it. Everything he says lately is right in line with what they want.
Who's they?
I don't know who he's pandering to. I guess he's pandering to the loudest people in politics and the voters. I mean, he was big on this. We're going to have a trans character, and we're working on that with what we're producing next. And we're getting
what's wrong with a trans character?
Nothing. Nothing is wrong as long as it is relevant to the story, part of the story in the comic books. Fine. For example, my problem with Captain Marvel, right? the movie was dry and dull. Brie Larson was. I mean, I'd rather watch paint dry.
Okay.
But
Now,
you
is
know,
that because of all the comments that she made, or you legitimately think her performance was?
well, okay. To explain better, I saw her performance first. I took my mom to the movies, took my kids. We saw the movie.
Sure.
I was bored. You know, the Cat and Nick Fury, they sold it for me. She was boring as fuck.
Okay.
Now, and then after I saw her interviews, and I was like, you know what? Not just were you boring, but now I want to punch you in the throat. You know?
Good old throat punch.
Yeah.
No, but what I'm trying to figure out though is like I can't. So then, what about the political messaging in Joker? Is that acceptable?
I think so. Yeah, because it's subtle. It's not really attacking anyone.
It's attacking the elites in society. But fuck those guys, right?
No, I don't.
So, no, but my point is that it just seems like political messaging, and at the end of the day, I think that could all just be answered by better writing.
Here's my take with political messaging.
Okay, sure.
Is that films like Civil War, Captain America: Civil War, where the subtext, both in it and in the book, are kind of rooted in this like 400-year-old kind of political philosophy argument about sovereignty of nations. That's kind of the whole subtext of Captain America and Iron Man is, you know, should we be able to just go willy-nilly into countries and because we have the power to change things and do good, you know, theoretically, or should we respect them even if it costs lives? That's the argument. There's no winning in that argument because, like, if you save people but you fuck the borders and stuff, then you're kind of totalitarian versus you're costing lives if you don't. There's no winning. Same with Dark Knight. Dark Knight is a parallel kind of subtext of the War on Terror and the Patriot Act. And you see it's like, well, if Batman...
This is too much power for one person to have.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. There's no winning. There's no good answer because one costs lives, but you keep your morals versus you take care of the problem, but you're no better than the problem. There's no winning. That's good political messaging or subtext because it's not attacking one side. When I watched the movie Vice, it's supposed to be like a historical drama about a huge figure during the Bush era with Cheney, but all I got was fuck Cheney, he's a Nazi, you know. Or it's like, this is not, you know, a kind of a neutral perspective. This is trying to steer me to hate this character. You know, when I watched The Founder, about Ray Kroc,
yeah, McDonald's, yeah.
I watch it and I'm like, yeah, I can see like he looks villainous, but you know, it's like there's a lot to interpret.
Screwed those guys over pretty hard.
There's a lot to interpret when you look at his circumstance and what his perspective on life would be with all the work he's done at that point. That's good storytelling versus like Vice.
Yeah, and that's the key thing, good storytelling, right? So at the end of the day, it's SJW politics. I still even I struggle with a consistent definition. I'm just supposed to. It's supposed to be kind of like an I win button or a scare word. Or go see Alita because there's no SJW politics in it. I heard she's a Mary Sue.
No.
I heard she's a Mary Sue. I don't know. I haven't seen it, but that was one of the criticisms is that she's a Mary Sue. But Mary Sues are okay as long as they, as long as they keep that the politics that maybe I'm a little sensitive to out. So I mean, I think people need to be real and honest. You don't want, again, I don't understand. Tara, let me ask you a question. Are you still there? Did we lose you? Tara? Like your tattoos, by the way. My question to her would be, okay, they're going to put in let's say they're talking about putting in a trans character. Okay. How many movies are in the MCU? 23?
Yeah, about 23, 24, something like that.
Let's say 20. Can we say 24? Is that fair?
Sure.
Does Kevin Feige not have enough credibility yet?
So far, but he might have just been doing a slow burn to.
So this is all one big conspiracy to become woke. Are you kidding me?
No, I legitimately think that's a legitimate concern. Trojan horsing your stuff instead of being outright, because usually abrupt change.
Well, isn't he outright by saying this is what we're doing?
Oh yeah, but you're so far in now where everyone's like, man, these movies are such a hit. I gotta see them. You know, it's like
I
crack.
just don't understand the argument against a trans character. I mean, if it's poorly written, then yeah, it's going to do nobody any justice.
Here's the thing. You know, you're talking about SJW politics. SJW politics or whatever, like in film, is people on Twitter that push, we need representation for blankety blank, and it's just superficial.
Yeah, but then people get pissed off. White people, these white males get pissed off when they look bad on screen. Representation matters, right?
I'm not.
People are pissed that a male. Okay, so let's go with Holdo. People are pissed that Holdo treated Poe like shit, made him look weak. People get upset about that. Okay, so in other words, representation matters.
Well, no, they're pissed because he was painted as a heroic character that we're rooting for, but the same qualities that make him heroic in the Hero in 7 are all of a sudden you're toxic, and it's like, where did this come from? You know, and it was very on the nose. It's kind of feminist, you know, workplace angle where it's like,
well, earlier in the movie he did fuck up. I mean, not that I want to defend The Last Jedi by any stretch of the means, but it's not outside of the realm of possibility that a superior officer really wouldn't want to, you know, engage. But I get your point. But my point is that, you know what. So if Marvel doesn't have credibility with what they've done, and if again, I don't know if I'll, you know, I'm not going to see a movie because it has somebody trans in it. But if somebody's trans in a movie, I'm not going to automatically discount it. I'll watch the trailer like everyone else and decide for myself.
I agree. The thing with SJWs in film is the same people that talk about representation for trans or black or whatever, that they tout these things. They don't actually support big box office films that are doing those things. They don't go see things like A Single Man or you know, Burt Mountain's older, but something like that, or Moonlight, which won an Oscar. None of these people can talk about that movie, which has a representation they tout. It's just virtue signaling. That's the problem that we're having. You know, like, and that's the thing is they want these qualities represented when they have nothing to do with the story. You know, like they made this big deal, like, oh, we're gonna have gay representation in Star Wars, and it's like a 2-second kiss that you cut out from countries that would not show it or raise the rating if you did, like not Sri Lanka, Singapore, I think, where you know, they had to edit out the 2-second gay kiss because they would make it rated R, and it's like, you don't really care about representation, you know, when you're touting, oh, I love Disney because this, but then you ignore the fact that they cut it for money in Singapore and anti-LGBT countries. That's the problem. That's what we're talking about with SJWs, at least how I see it.
Okay.
Now, other things get blown out of proportion for sure. Alita,
yeah, because it generates views, it generates clicks.
Alita had the benefit of like Captain Marvel, and everyone's like, "Go see this strong," and that was the problem for me. Is like,
no. Let's say,
why are we talking strong women? I go see good characters. I don't care about their gender. You're talking on their level now. So I was
as far as I know, Alita either broke even or lost money or made very little. Is that correct?
Dude. Yeah,
So the Twitter outrage and all that stuff couldn't generate the sales, or the outrage. Excuse me, but hey, how are you? But my point is that it lost. I mean, I believe with marketing and whatnot. I don't know if they greenlit Alita 2, but Disney bought Fox. They're probably like, you know what? We can't really afford a lot of money.
Pop Culture BB says fuck Alita. Yeah, I almost, when Alita's sequel was trending, I was going to do a video. I had a script ready. I'll probably make that video and just kind of retool the intro. Because
just didn't make that much, and that would suck if it's a good. I didn't see it, but that would suck if it's a good movie. Okay, yeah, that's what I. But I heard is, well, there's no SJW. There's these fake panic attacks about SJW politics. Oh, you should go see it because it doesn't have SJW politics. That's a fucking political statement. That's fucking an asinine reason to see a movie.
Yeah, it's just I mean, I'm trying to think of just like a dumb,
profoundly stupid reason to see a movie.
Like Godzilla '98. I love it because that's my favorite Godzilla design. That's my Godzilla as a kid. But it's an awful movie, but I don't remember any politics in the movie. Doesn't mean it's great because there's no I think people touted it because, oh my God, there's a movie with no politics. And
there's a movie with no politics. Oh my God, they finally heard us. Views, video. Go see it. Views. Fake panic attack. Pay attention to me. Watch my videos. Rate, comment, subscribe. Don't forget the tithe.
Here's the thing, and I'll turn it over to Tara, because I know she's really hungry to talk more about this. But
sure.
With Alita, There's this whole push. There's the Elite Army, all this shit.
Yeah, that worked out
Elite
fucking great.
Challenge.
A bunch of broke millennials.
No,
I'm kidding. That's a joke. Don't have a fake panic attack.
repeat
over it,
repeat viewers of like some touted like 8-10 times seeing this movie only couldn't get it to 100 million in America. They had to depend on China.
Oh shit, that's
to break even.
85 hilariously did not hit him.
So it's like with all your repeat viewings, it couldn't get 100 million. There's no fucking market for Disney. Unless maybe when they finally get Disney Plus in China, there's no market for a sequel.
Yeah, and not only that too, they had a star-studded cast. Right?
Christopher Waltz. You had the main girl is really attractive as the character, so there's a sex appeal and the intrigue of like what's going on. It's just something new. James Cameron producing.
Mahershala Ali was in it, correct?
Yeah, Jennifer Connelly. Like,
she's a AAA actress. She's accomplished actress. She's very good.
But yeah, I've never been a supportive. I fell for it. I fell for people covering it, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna go see it because I'm a guy that I watch a trailer, and 99% of the time I know, like whatever I felt with the trailer is how I felt about the movie. I'm always dead on for myself, and I said that looks boring. That looks like it's gonna suck. And people tricked me, and I paid $5 on Tuesday to see it, and I wasted 2 hours.
SJW politics. What's wrong with you?
I would prefer Last Jedi over Alita because at least I have a reaction.
How are you in the Fandom Menace, sir?
Because I'm OG Menace. OG Menace is for diverse.
Now there's subdivisions. Okay,
possibly. Yeah,
I can't keep up with all that.
My thing is, I came here for these motives. I don't care if people shift or it grows a different way. I'm here for this. The label stays because the ideas that started for me.
Yeah, so Alita, unfortunately, I don't see how they justify a sequel. But anyways, Tara, my apologies. I'm talking too much.
No, you're good. I just my mic cut out when we were talking about Captain Marvel and you were talking about the trans characters, and honestly, my son is gay. We watch Drag Race all the time. I have no problem with that, as long as it's not the motive used to sell the movies.
Let me ask you a question, and I think you might have disconnected, so I apologize if you heard this already. Apologize for redundancy.
Okay.
Kevin Feige has 24 movies in the MCU?
Yeah.
Does he not have credibility with the fans?
Okay, I played sports, right? So
What'd you play? I'm curious.
Basketball.
Yeah, I played basketball too. My father was a college All-American, had to try out the Atlanta Hawks. I did not do that well. I sat bench JV. But
I did good. I tore both my ACLs though. So.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, it was not fun.
Fuck.
Opposite of good times there.
Yeah, definitely. So, I don't have a problem with that. I feel like a lot of it is shoved down our throat. We're ticking boxes. I feel like just because Feige has done well in the past, just like a basketball team can do well in the past, and they lose their fans because they start to suck. Okay. And just because you did well in the past doesn't mean you're going to do well in the future. And we started to backtrack.
If I could counter that, the greatest predictor of future behavior is past behavior. And I understand your basketball reference. I'm a huge basketball fan myself. It's the only sport I was ever good at. But I would argue that the dynamics of a team that changes, like a professional team or even a college team is more transient. Even a high school team is more transient. People age out, right? It's the metaphor is not direct because at the end of the day, probably the same. He can get access to the same talent to continue to make these products. And like I said, he 24 movies under his belt. That is insane.
Yeah, I agree that
I think he should have the credibility. History. But as soon as that SJW soft spot is hit, it's Disney's going downhill. I mean, I own Disney stock. Holy shit, is it a great performer? I wish I had more. Honestly, I wish I had $1 million in the market in Disney. I'd be completely comfortable with that. But it's at the end of the day, it is what it is. So what is the speaker being a contrarian is tiring? We're here to have a discussion about differing views. What do you want from me? Fucking Stunod. What do you
No, Speaker's a great guy.
Okay.
He's being contrarian like me, I guess you would say.
I'm not being contrarian for the sake of being contrarian. I'm consistent with all my views.
Hey,
Yeah,
that makes for good conversation, though.
no, we're having a conversation of diverse thought.
But I
it's-
can't.
I mean,
I guess I'm not.
my-
I guess I have the wrong opinions.
My opinion on Kevin Feige is just because he's done well in the past, he's now got a higher position, and I think he's trying to please the wrong people at this time.
Okay.
A lot of the stuff that he said in the past few months, he will say something, and then a couple of days later to a week later, he'll backtrack on it. Captain Marvel is the strongest character. Okay, take that back. Now it's Scarlet Witch is the strongest character. We're gonna have a trans character. Oh, just kidding. We're walking that back. We're getting Hulkling.
Yeah.
And
sure.
and that's fine. I don't have a problem with that because that's comic book canon. That's how it is.
I mean, like I
Wiccan
said, I'm
and
going to wait
Hulkling
to
are
judge
a thing.
before. Like I said, I'll judge based on the trailer. Black Widow trailer looked pretty good.
Yeah, it did.
I don't
wasn't
have
sold
any.
on it to begin with, but seeing more and more of the trailer, I am. But I also have a crush on Fat Hopper, so
Fair enough.
I'm sold on that too.
Right.
So,
of course.
but I think that with his higher position, he's trying to please more people, and I think he's putting feelers out to see how is this going to go, how are people going to react, and then based on that, he's walking it back or going with it based on that.
Maybe he's testing the market, but that's fair. All right, fine. If he's walking back stuff, maybe he's putting feelers out, but we'll have to see what the end product is. And like I said, they're going to release trailers, and if it's not appealing, then stay home. I'm
going to give it a shot, but I'm not going to give him carte blanche to just, Kevin Feige's great because he has this past. Your past is your past, man. I still want to see you produce, and I still want to see.
Well, let me ask you a question. You said did you get ACL surgery?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Which knee? Right or left?
My right.
Oh, you're right. Okay, so yeah.
So
that obviously impacts driving as well, correct?
Yeah.
Right. So let me ask you a question. Do you want a surgeon with 20 years of experience, or do you want one fresh out of medical school?
No, I'm going to go with experience. My doctor was the doctor for the Dallas Cowboys.
There you go. Oh, fuck the Cowboys. But no, I'm a Giants fan.
I know.
Fuck your Eagles too.
Who's your team? Are you a Giants?
Giants, motherfucker. Eagles, die. Why don't you throw some more snowballs at Santa Claus?
I will throw snowballs every year at Santa.
Fuck Santa, right?
Yeah.
If we could get snowballs in Texas, that would be great.
If you want to understand the snowballs really quick, there's actually a story. I'm going to talk sports for a second, but hey, flag will fly. That year, we sucked. And
no shit.
We wanted to keep losing to get a better draft pick. And then once it was like, well, playoffs are out of the way, let's just keep losing. Then we start winning. So there's a Christmas game. This guy happens to just think, hey, it's Christmas game. I'll go in a Santa suit. And of course, the Eagles win. So they're like, fuck you for winning. You're screwing our draft pick. So that guy just got the brunt of it. But he was cool about it. They've even done, I think the Super Bowl year, a couple years ago, they actually did a video with that guy. So he's not a sore fan or anything about that.
No, I'm just busting balls. But I figure we should get
people
back
don't understand it. But yeah.
But like I said, at the end of the day, it's Feige's got credibility at the very least. Now I understand that's not to say he's bomb-proof, right?
Right.
He could probably produce a bad movie. That's fair. But I got to imagine with all these films under his belt, he's probably learned a thing or two. Again, he's not perfect. And you're right, there is potential there. That's why I'm going to wait for the trailer to come out. I'm excited for Shang-Chi. I love Eastern style martial arts. I'm a huge fan of that.
I'm a quarter Japanese, so
that's
Asians,
awesome.
I'm here for the Asians.
I hope the new Star Wars movie, everyone could flip around like Darth Maul. I'll lose my shit. Like that's it. I don't even care what the story is. Just flip around like him, and you don't even. Not everyone has to use a staff. Just do some sabers.
Yeah.
Or like the intro to the Old Republic, that old Xbox game, like that cinematic. If we could have shit like that, I'm sold, because I believe that was all motion capture, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I'm a prequel kid, so no, I was going to ask you really quick before I start. Have you seen House of Cards?
Yeah, great show.
All right, this is my comparison with Feige and she's been around for a while, but his lackey, it seems, Victoria Alfonso, whatever. I think this is a long, slow burn of Feige out of nowhere. Even though she's been around for years, since at least I think Iron Man 2 or 3.
What is her role? Just so I'm clear.
I think she's a producer. She's
She is,
just
yeah.
recently came out as someone of merit, speaking, and she's been wanting to say, like, oh, we need to, X-Men is outdated. We need to make it like X people or
Yeah,
something. It's
they
like,
need to shut
what
her
the
ass
fuck?
up.
She's out of nowhere, and my whole theory is that she is a slow burn, like Frank. Was it Frank Burns? Is that his name? Frank Underwood. Really, the long game was to get Claire in power. Yeah, Frank didn't want to get ousted early, but the long game was to get his wife in power. And subvert the system.
And secure that pardon.
Yeah. I think that's kind of the long game with Feige. Is he's just solidified himself. He's going to plant Alonzo.
Yeah,
there.
but the challenge is that I get what you're saying. The free market will speak though. The free market will speak.
The thing with Marvel, though, is it's got a lot longer leash than Star Wars. Star Wars gets an immediate reaction because it's a lot of investment by a small fan base. And yeah, Star Wars is huge, it's everywhere, but ultimately it's a small fan base compared to Marvel. Marvel appeals to kids. They get the toys. It's something you take the family to. It's not like you don't have to know in-depth comic shit to actually watch the movies. It's very carnal, very just basic pleasure that you're like, I would love to have that blankety blank power. That's the appeal of superhero movies. So there's a lot longer burn for these films to die out for bad service. That's my take.
Well, I mean, like I said, I don't know if a trans character is going to be good or bad. It depends on how it's written, how it's incorporated. I'm not against it for the sake of saying, oh my God, trans is SJW politics. Watch my video, rate, comment, subscribe, don't forget to tithe.
Blair White was in an MCU film. Take my money, or Bailey J. Yes, all day. But if it's just there, like we got a trans person and they're there for 5 seconds and there's no point. Besides touting, we got a trans, then it's
they're doing it to tick boxes right now.
I'll find a link for you. There's a stream, and this isn't indicative of the demographic. That's not the point. But I'm talking SJWs. This trans person was an SJW who was anti-CG. For whatever reason, EVS noticed her on Twitter, so he's like, "Hey, let's talk Comicsgate. Why are you against Comicsgate?" And the whole point is supposed to be Comicsgate and comics. And the whole chat ended up being about like incels and this and that. It's nothing about comics. She even said like, I can't afford the comics that pander to me and this and that. And it is reflective of like a general population, not of trans, but of like the SJWs that want comics with representation that's disingenuous, whatever. That whole conversation kind of reflected, I think, where people say they want this stuff, but they don't even care about themselves. They're often, whatever. Ooh, squirrel. What's this? They want to. That's the problem. Like they're ultimately, regardless of the politics, you have these agendas, whether it's political necessarily or not, of just trying to make new fans at the expense of the established fans, as opposed to let's service fans and get more fans. It's saying, fuck you, you're white, you're male, you're straight, you support cops, whatever the hell it is. We want these people. Fuck your X years of involvement and investment. That's the problem. Now you see it, like I said, a lot more in Star Wars off the bat. That's why you see the toy sales just fucking plummet compared to like Marvel's got. They may never see a dip because regardless of the movies, the toys, kids are like, "Ooh, look, masked character. I want it."
Okay.
And McDonald's is selling their shit too, so
yeah. McDonald's having Star Wars toys and like just there's some crap. I was like, what the hell is this? This is just like, I don't know if you saw the McDonald's toys for Star Wars Rise of Skywalker, but it was like an extension of Pops type of toys. It's like, what kid would have fun with this? Like maybe if like my 3-year-old that doesn't need actual like a toy to do anything to have fun with it, maybe, but like there's no longevity to the toys they're selling now compared to when I was a kid. Episode 1 came out, Pizza Hut, KFC, Taco Bell, they had the globes and shit. Those can last a lifetime and you're gonna love it.
I'm old as shit, so like the episode 5 was like my first Star Wars.
Yeah. Anything do you have like an actual channel with content, Firestarter?
I'm sorry, what was the question?
Well, I gotta close out. I gotta go to work early.
Oh, no.
Do you have any content, that you could?
No, I don't really. I have a YouTube channel, but I deleted all the videos on it. I used to do like gaming stuff, but it's old. It's dead games. Nobody cares. No, I just, like I said, I'm at Firewater Effects on Twitter. More than happy to have a conversation with anyone.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it.
And
Yeah,
like I said, and I think there's been, because I heard some people are not supposed to appear on stream with me because Little Bird told them that I'm because the typical Fandom Menace person can't use their talking points against me because I don't believe that you're racist and sexist as a group overall. I believe in the Fandom Menace there are some man babies and, to be fair, woman babies. That I do agree with. But I don't think that they're often lumped together, and I think there's a separate criterion for each, and I don't think they should all be lumped together. So
there's a lot of good people in there.
I'm sure there are, like I said, but they turn to these YouTubers, and then they start getting hit up for money, and it's like, whoa, I thought we were just all fans together. There's some, and so that's where it to me, that's where the grift, like I said, they got to shift the grift or something, because at the end of the day, people are going to do what they're going to do. They want to give these people their money. Like, again, Stealing Soul is a prime example of why not to support these things, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I've got unpopular opinions, but I can see the point of both sides. So I'm friends with everybody. I try to be the neutral ground.
Right.
Even though
have you criticized the attempt or at least the appearance of a grift, though, Tara? Because I think you'll get a drastically different reaction.
I get drastically different reactions from a lot of people for a lot of things. So
okay, fair enough.
I mean, if you knew me better, I mean, I'm controversial on a lot of fronts. So
okay. That's fine. You seem to be reasonable here.
I try. I try. I mean, I have some opinions that are different, especially for women. They don't like to hear my opinions, and they think I'm toxic.
Fix your programming.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. Well, thank you all both for coming on. I'm gonna let y'all go, and I'm just gonna address the chat by myself before I head out. So, I know I have slacked at that tonight, but we're having a good conversation.
Well, thank you very much for this opportunity. I appreciate it.
I think you should make content. You don't have to be Fandom Menace, but I think just good critical take that's different is good, and I would keep my ear out for it, eyes out.
Well, I appreciate that. I just don't want to promise something and not deliver it. I work a lot of hours, and one of the reasons I was able to appear tonight was because I got off early.
Nice.
It just happened to be a coincidence, which I was running out of gas at the end of the day anyways. There's only so many cups of coffee I could drink, but I'm thinking about, Mad Max said the same thing. I just don't want to commit to something and then disappoint. So, and I don't know with my time constraints, because I have some how should I say it? I got some moves I'm making in 2020 that will probably take up a long consideration of my time. And again, now would not be the time, but I appreciate the sentiment very much. Thank you. And I'll keep an eye out for your content as well.
Come be active in the chat. So, I mean, that would be good. Just be active.
That I can do. That's a little bit easier.
Before I send you back in, though, Ricky Critic says, nice conversation. Sounds like you got some decent arguments. And he was saying earlier that he can appreciate your perspective because you don't know him. So it's like, it's
nothing personal. I'm sure he's a good guy.
But I would say at the end of the day, your beef feminist as far as products, whatever, is really just with Jeff Hicks. And, you should take it case by case as opposed to like Fandom Menace makes something and no versus individual made something in the Fandom Menace and faltered. So I will be skeptical of blank person and group versus, that's how I feel you should take it, as opposed to just blanketing everyone because of one guy's
but the problem is that the actions of the individual can often see as being a representative of the group. But then,
I agree.
Yeah. So I mean, that's kind of like
there's a duality that's hard.
Yeah, CGH, you're gonna unblock me. Most people block me because they don't want to hear the truth that I have to say. If you want to unblock me, do it or don't. I don't give a shit. Half of the people I feel like half the people in the Fandom Menace block me because they don't want to hear. Because again, I bypass the talking points. And then I make them uncomfortable. And then I get called a fake fan because I call Star Wars an entertainment product. And you're not a real fan. That's a Fandom Menace member. And
I had to take the Den of Nerds out of my Twitter because I have my own opinions that are not representative of the group. So
Yeah.
I
It's
understand
tough.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fair.
All right, Farward, I'm going to send you out. Thanks for coming
Very
in.
good. Thank you
Maybe
so
I'll
much.
have you on in the future because I value diverse opinion, even if I in the end disagree. But yeah, thanks, man. See you around.
Thank you.
All right. See you, Angus.
And yeah, see you, Tara. All right, chat. I'm going to address y'all. Funny thing, Rookie Critic, I actually, what do you call it? I actually sent you the link, but you're still at work and we're in different time zones, so you're probably not going to close for another hour or two. But let me get in this chat. There's something I think Michael S. said earlier. He says Prometheus is the best alien movie and Covenant is second best. Now, Covenant is kind of dog shit. It's like a lot of things to follow up, and there's not really anything built on. I still like it. I love the duality of like, is it Michael and the other android, whatever? That was really cool. Fassbender, I didn't expect to be the star of this series. I want to see it continue, but people aren't paying for it, in large. It's kind of break even, I think. But I saw Covenant twice. I liked it enough. I like Alien. I just like being in that universe. And I like what Ridley Scott's doing, especially with Prometheus, really wrestling with his agnosticism through his art in a vague enough way. Like, you can say it's on the nose, but I think it's what he's trying to get. I don't quite understand. Maybe I'm just dumb. And I see Ambassador enjoying it as well. Let me see. We got Phobic Xeno. Yeah, Curtis says he loved Covenant. I can appreciate it. Prometheus. I saw Stargate when I rewatched Prometheus. I watched Stargate for the first time. I'm like, oh my god, Prometheus is like Stargate for Alien. I love it. Alien and Aliens are the best. Yeah, I agree. I think Aliens is subpar in the sense of like how they serve the creature, where it's like, yeah, there's different classes of them, like warrior and the big chap and the queen and all that, but ultimately they give the impression that an individual alien is smart as fuck, but for whatever reason they're in a hive, and so they have to be stupid and brainless and be directed by the queen. I get the escalation and how do you follow up? You can't do the same thing twice, but I think you could have had just a few, like, I don't know, like Jurassic Park, like a little pack of them, and maybe a queen to start a new hive. But no, Aliens is a fun, sequel. It's just like, it's not the horror like the first one. Ghost of Morgue, I don't know what the crying game is, but I'll look into that. Critical Drinkers Breakdown. Yeah, no, Speaker, I watch him from time to time. He's the one who uses the puppets, right? No, that's cool, Ambassador. I didn't know you were actually a student of theology or whatever. That's cool. I'm an atheist, but I find myself defending Christendom here and there. Yeah, The Revenant, Michael S. That's a great one. Let's see. Little birds chirp a lot. North American Hammer. I assume you're talking about Firewater. I appreciate his discussion. He's got passion. He's clearly a fan. Clearly a Disney supporter. I don't think that makes him a shill or anything. I know people can conclude that. Just trying to catch up with y'all. I'm getting close. Ambassador says, this has been a good stream. Thanks for putting on. Yeah, it's no problem, man. Phobic Xeno says no one's criticized Jeff. I think I was critical enough in my review. That's the thing is, I don't really care left or right about this fulfillment thing. I'm very forgiving on that because it seems like, again, it's getting fulfilled from the printer. They're taking the hit. Regardless if it really was their fault or not, it seems that's the narrative I can piece out of all this. I do wish Jeff was just more just straightforward, just boom, this is it. But from what I gather, and I'm forgiving, and it seems like it wasn't supposed to happen this way. Captain Pennsylvania says, I like that guy. Do you mean Firewater? Because that's awesome. I appreciate Rookie being a fair chap, if you will, with criticism. Nice outro, CJH. What do you mean? Oh, just kicking people. Do you mean that? Pop culture says Covenant is dumb as fuck, and I love it. Yeah, it's all right. It got predictable. It's like, oh no, you're doing Alien again. Come on. Yeah, Ricky Stargate was cool. Hey, what's up, Black Days? Saying hell, Angus. Thanks. Michael S. says he's a Christian in a Trump frame. Proud of it. Yeah, it's awesome. I love Trump. Oh, yeah, CJ, that's not a problem, man. Making sure I'm not missing anything. Cool. Anything you got questions for me before we go? This has gone a little longer than I expected to, but yeah. Yeah, Firewater, like I said, I haven't gone after Jeff Fix just because I'm forgiving with startups, and yeah, he give a perception, but I'm just like, whatever. He messed up. Better fix it the next time, or he really will lose his fan base. The paying fan base for his product. Like they says, hail the God Emperor Trump. Yes, he is a model American memer. I love it. Something happened. They tried some shit during Game of Thrones season 8, and he tweeted, excuse me, game over. Like, you got nothing. And I love it. And even with this impeachment, if they really had something, why is it gone to the Senate? Because they got nothing. I'll try to be political, though. I'll try to avoid that. Leave Jeff alone before his guard dog bite. Oh, you're talking about Jesse. Yeah, Senate says I aspire to be as good as Trump. But yeah, thank you all for coming. I had a good crowd tonight. I'll be having a monetization stream tomorrow. So if you want to super chat me, just indulge in dumbassery tomorrow. Hope to have a good panel just rotating through. Stop on by. I'll be starting at 8 p.m. Eastern. I'll try to go long enough to get Jeff Ricky Critic on, because me pushing back an hour, he won't be able to make it at the beginning. So if I can last long enough, so that she said. Oh, Hammer, no, you're good. You're good. I like it. You're reacting. Yeah, see you tomorrow, Black Daddy. Thank you all in the chat. I'm going to go to bed. I got to get my kids' clothes ready for babysitter tomorrow, whatnot. But appreciate all y'all hanging out and chatting. Sorry I missed y'all in the moment, but as you saw, we were having conversation, so it wasn't like I was just doing nothing. But I almost left studio. I always do that. In broadcast. Here we go. See y'all tomorrow.